Sounds good.
I'm Eric.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Joe, and you're you.
And that sounded so much better coming out of his mouth.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
That
pretty
was.
good.
Welcome, Joe, to A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the podcast.
Thank you.
Joe Gonzalez. First off, and this is a big question that I've had. I have not went into your archives long enough to know this. Why do you pronounce realtor differently? Because of the first video, I thought...
That's a funny first question.
I'm so interested, because at first I thought, he doesn't know how to pronounce realtor. And then am I pronouncing it wrong? I didn't know. But then you started emphasizing the AL in your text. So I'm like, okay, so so what's up?
This is
Why
hilarious.
are you a realtor?
Realtor. I'm a realtor. I'm just having a lot of fun. I mean, I like putting spins on things, saying things different. I just don't find it as fun to say things normally. I think it's more fun just having fun.
Is there any other words that you pronounce differently intentionally?
Wow. I don't know.
Just grilling you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a funny start. I didn't know how we'd start here, but
We asked the hard-hitting questions at the beginning.
we're going through realtor. I mean, I think as we go on, you might see things that I say differently.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe you could explain what you do, because you're in real estate.
Yes.
So the field.
Yes.
Is there a little bit more about that?
So I'm a real estate broker. I've been working in real estate for 5-6 years now. My office is in Fawn Hill. I live in Wainfleet, sell real estate.
It's a decent commute in the morning, yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I live northeast end of Wainfleet to Fawn Hill, so it's like right on the border there. And yeah, selling houses and do a lot of marketing, content creation, a lot of content.
Hey, that's what we do.
Yes. Yeah, that's why this is really interesting for me too.
It's always nice to talk to fellow content creators, and
Yes.
like this podcast is great in what we do. I also own a photo and video company, hence the equipment and
Gotcha.
everything. So we do a lot of kind of professional content creation as well. Not that this isn't professional, but this is a little bit different.
Yeah. So what kind of stuff, what are you working
Weddings,
on?
business, weddings, and then we work with small businesses.
So pictures and video for weddings.
Yeah.
Nice.
And commercials and things
Commercials.
Nice.
Business cards, as you just heard.
Yeah. Doing business on the way in here. I like it.
Yeah, business, brochures, business products. We are,
And you work for the company or own it?
it's my company.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it.
I should also disclose that I'm a lot of things, real estate investor a little bit, but I build houses. I'm a carpenter, so
Nice.
got that background. I'm always around houses anyways.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's
Good
definitely
that
So
you're
you-
not homeless.
it's true.
So you probably know more about houses than I do.
Maybe in framing them and maybe some of the other contracting type stuff, but I mean, I don't know if I think I'm seeing more money possibilities out of the real estate investing side of things than just building things and fixing things.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Real estate's good investment for sure. For sure.
I don't know. Should we address the elephant in the room, or should we just let it be? Because if things go poorly, then 2 weeks later.
You as the viewer with hindsight. Today is April 23rd, 2019.
At
So there's
7:35 at night.
Toronto is playing Boston.
Yes.
It is currently in the first period. Game 7. 7 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
And that's why we have our second blue-haired guest.
Yes, there's a game on, and when I wore this 2 games ago, they won. So I'm just gonna. Everybody can thank me for this later.
Were you in the same attire? 2
Exact
games ago?
same.
Exact same.
Well, I mean, I'm always wearing the gold jacket. I guess this is another word.
Gold jacket.
Jacket.
I like it.
Yeah, the jacket I'm always wearing, and I definitely had this jersey on and the Joe shirt underneath, and probably jeans. So
Well, that works.
yeah.
I heard that apparently Drake, when he goes and watches a game, is bad luck. and somebody's saying that he should go to Boston and wear a Boston jersey and try to turn it around somehow.
That would be great.
Do you believe in this phenomenon?
Well, he just said he did.
What's that?
Well, you just said you.
Oh, I missed it.
You wore that and they won, so
No, Drake
Drake?
specifically.
Oh, Drake.
When he goes and watches a game.
I mean, I don't know if I believe it, but if it works, that would be amazing because I don't remember the last time the Leafs beat Boston in the playoffs, if ever. So if it would work, I hope he's doing
a miracle.
it. Yeah.
He's just there in the crowd with a hoodie pulled over and a jersey on top.
That'd be great.
It'd be very interesting because this is the first time we've ever covered a live event, kind of, outside of Twitter updates that I occasionally get. So people could potentially be commenting saying, well, this is anticlimactic. They know how it's going to end.
Yeah, but it's exciting now for us, and I really appreciate you guys putting on the game because that's pretty cool.
Are you a lifelong hockey fan?
So I'm not going to tell you I'm the most hardcore hockey fan in the
No,
world.
you don't look it.
No?
The blue hair and blue jersey.
Okay.
It's further than I'd ever go.
Yeah.
That was a joke. You look it the part.
I mean, a couple days ago, I did a little poll on Facebook, and in one picture I wore this. Another one I wore a Boston jersey. So I just had this. I've always rooted for the home team Leafs, and I've seemed to find myself watching the playoffs more. It's the most exciting hockey to me. I don't know. I'm sure there's hockey fans that...
I'm a weirdo. I like Olympic hockey.
Yeah, Olympic hockey, yeah, it's great. When there's a big stage, I find it exciting. In playoffs, every play is important, so I just find it that much more exciting. But I'm not a hardcore fan by any means. But I am a Toronto fan.
Have you ever gone to watch a game live yourself?
Yeah, I've been to the Leafs play the Habs in Toronto. I've been to a Habs game in Montreal. I don't remember who they played. Been to a Buffalo game in Buffalo.
A lot of people in this region are going to do that if you live in the Niagara region.
Yeah.
Tickets are so much cheaper.
Way cheaper.
Yeah.
Way cheaper. The only reason I went to the game in Toronto was it was free tickets. So.
Well, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
If I could get free tickets, I would go.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems so prohibitive, like how expensive it is. I don't know how kids these days are going to grow up and,
You're sounding old there.
Yeah, but, well, even when I was a kid, they were probably...
Kids these days.
Even when I was a kid, they were probably very expensive.
Shoot.
But, like, oh, no.
That just happened.
Here comes a goal from Boston. Yeah, no, it's exceptionally expensive. I don't know how kids with all these dreams about hockey and all that can really get amped up when they can't even go see a game. It's not even that accessible anymore unless your parents are very well off or you have some
You go see
interesting
local
opportunities.
hockey.
Yeah,
of
local
course.
hockey. The
I mean,
Ice Dogs.
I've seen some OHL stuff.
Yeah.
The
So-
Ice Dogs, I'm not a hockey fan. I'll watch, but I'm not really a hockey fan. But it was fun. I recently went to an Ice Dogs game, and it was fun to be live, and I wouldn't have went had the tickets also not been paid for.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to hear more about you guys. So I
On this episode of the podcast, the hosts get interviewed.
yeah.
So, I mean, I find it really cool what you guys are doing. We were just talking before you got it rolling. I have a great appreciation for other content creators. I think it's great. How did this start?
I think it started because Jesse and I decided we wanted two things. One, we wanted to create more content, and a podcast is a very rigidly scheduled thing where you can just do it every single week. And two, we just wanted to get to know each other more because
Oh my god.
it sounds really intimate and romantic or something, but it's
A good way to do it, though.
pretty much
In 60 weeks, it has went from me knowing Eric to him being one of, if not my best friends.
Nice.
And it feels like I've known him for 10 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean,
it's forced conversation.
yeah, you guys, and you do this every week?
Every week.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes the viewers at home don't know this, but sometimes we'll do 2 a week if the scheduling allows.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do miss a week if we do 2
Right.
a week. But we
Wow.
average about 1 a week.
It's a great type of thing to put out there because anybody can do it.
Yeah.
I think your best bet, if you're going to spend money and say you need to invest in something, just get a good microphone set up because a cell phone takes good enough video for you to do it as long as you figure out a way to record long enough. But you could have your own podcast, or anybody watching could have their own podcast.
See, now the inspiration.
It can,
I love it.
It
I
can be
love
by
it.
themselves if you're really good at talking.
Yeah.
Keep a flow going.
Right.
Usually that's shorter term content, but if you got somebody you want to talk to, could be just you and a guest, or it could be 2 hosts, it could be whatever. I think once you get past about 4 people, it gets too confusing
Yeah,
and
a
there's
little too
people
much.
talking over each other. But
Yeah. So how do you guys know each other?
So we've told the story a couple times, so I'll
Have
keep it
you?
a little brief. But I came to the Niagara region to be a student,
Right.
and I was a photographer. I came from up in Barrie, but
Gotcha.
but yeah, I was a photographer at the time doing my own work, and
I came from Tillsonburg
Right.
to the Niagara region to be a student, as you so put it.
Nice.
Film production, Niagara College.
Nice.
And then I kind of never left.
Yeah.
And
started this whole DH media thing.
That's sick.
weird
And anyways,
adventure.
he interviewed me, and I got a job.
Sick.
So for a while, I was just
I really,
contractor.
honest to God, didn't want to be friends with him at the beginning.
Really?
Well, because
That's nice of you.
it changed, right? Because the way I thought, and I still, to an extent, believe this, if we ever hired somebody else, there has to be professionalism. You have to have some employees that you're not friends with, because
Right.
I'm at an issue right now. When I get married, I have to hire a different photography company because every one of my employees is in my wedding party.
Right.
So
strange dilemma to have.
that's
That
my
is.
thing.
Right.
And I obviously, had he been a jerk, I wouldn't have been friends with him. But since he's not a jerk and he's a really good guy, that's how we became friends.
That's
But
cool.
originally I thought he's an employee. And at the beginning, it was like that. And then one time we went out for dinner and did photos of the Rib Fest.
Nice.
And I realized, shit, he's a good photographer. I need to step up my game. And then, everything else happened. And
Yeah.
here we are.
I like it. That's cool.
And it's been 3 years, almost. Happy 3 years.
Yay.
That you've known each other.
Yeah.
And when did you start your company?
I started it back in 2014. Started with myself and like a lot of other videographers. My girlfriend at the time. It did not work out with her.
No.
So I seeked other contractors. And we have had some good years, some bad years, and some very interesting situations over the years. But here we are, technically year 5.
And now the podcast is to help.
So the podcast is kind of a
Separate thing.
weird thing. At the beginning, we said it's 100% separate. But in certain situations, they kind of go not hand in hand, but case in point, the guest before you,
Right.
he was a client of ours.
Groom.
He was a groom.
Right.
So it's not necessarily ever going to be amalgamated, but they're not competitive in any way, so they exist.
Right.
But since we don't make money, it doesn't matter at all.
Right. But it's content creation is great. It's
Yeah.
helping.
And our name gets
Personal
out there.
branding,
We met
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I can say this, outside of the guy last week, Bobby, who was a guest or a client of ours,
Yeah.
it's really interesting when you start to meet people that you've only seen on a screen.
Right.
So I don't necessarily know if you would consider yourself a celebrity.
You are a social media personality.
Yes.
I think I'd like to turn attention to that because that's the only you that I know
Wasn't done my
is
sentence.
you on Facebook.
Right.
Anyways, it's cool to meet people.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I'm happy you guys invited me out. As soon as you hit me up, I was more than willing to.
Actually, fun fact, I think I also did contact your Facebook page at one point saying that I like your stuff and maybe we could do some work together.
Yeah. Nice.
So what are you doing with your Facebook these days for the people that don't know?
Okay. So.
Eating a lot of burgers.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've noticed that.
Yeah, so most recently I started the Burger Quest, and I'm on the search to find the best gold medal burger. I started Niagara, but
I haven't
now
had supper yet. This was bad.
no. I mean, can we freaking
No.
What qualifies as a gold medal burger?
gold medal burger is simply the bun, the patty, lettuce, onion, and pickle. And the reason for this was I wanted to, and this was a lot of deliberation when I decided to go on this quest on what to get on it.
That makes it sound very epic.
Well, I mean, I was throwing around the idea for a while with my team and friends and family, saying I want to start doing this, and I wanted to do burgers because there's another guy that does pizza, so I didn't want to completely rip him off. So I wanted to figure a way to standardize it. A lot of people, more people than not, wanted me to do the signature burger at every place, but I found that the toppings can hide and mask a true burger, and I'm just trying to find the good burger. And I thought it'd be too plain to get no toppings, like no lettuce, no onion, no pickle.
The beef would really have to stand on its own.
Right, and I find, it'd be, because that's all you got, the beef and the bun. And now at least there's an opportunity for a little bit of variation with those 3 toppings, because there's been people or businesses that have been able to do things like pickled onions, which I thought was really good, and like sauteed onions, which I thought took it to another level.
I love when they're caramelized. So
Yeah. And there's one place.
It's 2-0 now.
Oh wow!
It's not going in your favor.
We're gonna watch the mental breakdown of Joe Gonzalez.
Yeah, show's over.
I quit. It's okay. If you get upset, we have alcohol to calm the nerves.
Nice, I like it. Yeah, I see that. I like the lineup here. Yeah.
I always like to point out there's hydrogen peroxide in that lineup for some reason. Don't drink that.
I just enjoy that. You also won. It was what was the advertising award?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
You're
actually.
award winning.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. 2019 Marketer of the Year.
There we go.
Yeah, Niagara Association of Realtors. That was pretty cool. I was in great company with that too. There was 3 other realtors: Nathan Morissette, Jerry Hendricks, and Joe Barry. They're all making it happening. So the fact that I was able to win in that field was pretty cool. But the cool thing for me was it's realtors that vote for it. So it's all the realtors in Niagara voted. So it's pretty cool because honestly, not a lot of realtors engage in my content. So I know that they're watching, but I didn't really hear much. I didn't know if they liked it or not. So it was pretty cool that they...
That's an interesting thing, is you don't necessarily know the impact you're having, because a lot of people who will stumble upon things that you or I or anybody create don't comment, they don't share, they don't do any of those things.
Just
so
passive views.
Yeah, it's hard to really quantify that. Yeah, you find out
you piss them off, and then they comment.
Yeah, then you get the bad stuff is more vocal for sure. But yeah, so that was pretty cool because definitely thousands of views, only so many comments, so many likes. I mean, they're happening, but yeah, most people are not engaging.
So in the real estate world,
since
there's realtors watching
Realtors.
sounds like a type of mince.
It sounds like a knockoff Godzilla.
That's hilarious.
Is it, how do I say it? Is it kind of dog eat dog out there, or is everybody really friendly as far as like realtor to realtor?
That's a good question. So we're all independent contractors. It is a competitive industry. The way I look at it is, and everybody looks at it differently, but I see it as we're all competing for listings. Like if you wanted to list your property, as realtors are going to want that. But once a property is listed, I see it as a teamwork, it's collaboration. Because if, for example, you were a realtor and you had his house listed, and now I had a buyer that wanted to buy it, we have to work together to put the deal together. Yeah. Even though we have both our clients' interests at heart, and I'm going to try and get the best deal for my client and the same for you, at the end of the day, we want to put the deal together as well as the buyer and seller. So we have to work well together. So even though we might have been competing to list this house, if you have it listed and I have a buyer, it's time for us to get some business done. I mean, there's some realtors that don't see it that way. Some see it competitive through and through. I'm sure there's a lot that see it the way I do. I'm actually, I don't know, you guys probably haven't seen it, but about 2 months ago, I brought back something called Caravan Squad.
I've been watching.
Yeah, so that's something I'm trying, because in our industry, even though I've only been around 5-6 years, realtors are being more distant from each other with technology, right? Back before I started, and there's been changes since I started, but email wasn't around. You had an offer, you had to bring it to the other realtor and have a face-to-face conversation, right? Now, negotiations get done over email, text message, maybe a phone call, hardly ever face-to-face. So with Caravan Tour, what it is it's nothing groundbreaking. A lot of offices do it in our office, where for example, the company I work for, Century 21, every Tuesday we have a sales meeting, 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. And when we're done, like today, we went to go look at the new listings in the office. So everybody that was in the meeting goes and looks at the new listing so that we can give feedback on the property. And if we have any buyers interested in anything like that, we have a first-hand look at it and see what's going on. But with Caravan Squad, what I'm trying to do is build more team and face-to-face back with realtors, and it's open to all brokerages and all realtors. So I'm saying realtor a lot more than I normally do.
Is it ingrained in your mind to say it like that?
It seems like it.
I don't know.
I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I'm not either, although it is, you'll see every time you say it, I smile, because it is slightly different.
That's interesting. There must be a little bit of a breakdown too between realtors and clients. A little, well, not really a breakdown, but less communication necessary. Because when I'm buying houses, there are automated like emails and stuff that go out to show new listings, and I have great apps like Realtor.ca that I personally like and use. It seems like it's funny. Maybe it's because myself and my girlfriend are very decisive. But like the last place, we were all out on a weekend looking at places that were just an open house or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we walked into the one that we had set out with the intention of going to after a couple of ones we just found on the way. And we stepped in there and we're like, yeah, we'll buy it. And we contacted a real estate agent and just said, sure. Because I don't, there's this almost, maybe I'm just too different, but I can tell what I want right away. And I don't really need to even talk to the real estate agent before saying, yeah, we'll buy it. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I think back before, one of the big roles for a realtor was helping to find a home for their buyer. Now, just like you mentioned, this is not, maybe you're a little bit more aggressive, but not a completely uncommon process where buyers are able to locate the homes that they want to see even better than I can or any realtor.
Because the client doesn't know exactly what they want.
Yeah,
right?
They know what they want. And all my clients, the ones that are motivated and want to buy, they're on Realtor.ca refreshing 300 times a day. Whereas I look at it twice a day, maybe 3 times. So they'll see listings and tell me that it's listed before I know. So my role isn't necessarily, and sometimes I do find a home first for different reasons.
Because not everybody's going to be actively searching that hard.
Yeah. A lot are, but not everyone. Mm-hmm. But then once finding a property, that's when it's time to do the work to negotiate the deal and protect them through the offer. If you've been through it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's interesting. So what kind of things are you typically negotiating other than price?
Price is number one. The 2 biggest things to negotiate in a real estate deal, residential deal, is number 1, price, and second most important or common is closing date. Those are the 2. And then from there it goes to the amount of the deposit, chattels included, the appliances, and conditions. What conditions and how long, like financing, putting together a mortgage or doing an inspection or whatever else might be involved.
Do you find that almost every house you end up working on or whatever has an inspection done and things like that? Because I know my girlfriend and I have just bought houses as is,
right? Because
it's better for us in our situation. But do a lot of people do that?
So I would say that maybe 70% of deals that I do now, it's a little bit different too. When the market was really hot, there was less home inspections getting done. Because a lot of people were making offers without conditions, buying
cash.
Buying cash and figuring out the financing and anything later. Now that the market's balanced, home inspections are more common. Like I was saying, maybe around 70%. And of those 70%, about half of them use a hired home inspector versus their dad, uncle, best friend, whatever. But
it's a good idea.
yeah,
I mean, I should add that the last house I bought, I don't know if it was the reason why it was listed as is. I think the house was on the market for a long time. They were just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it had an issue with roots and the drainage pipe leading away from the house. So
Right.
it was a combination of two things. And the washer had an issue where it would get jammed on, basically, and it would just keep flooding water. So anyways, my basement flooded with like 1.5 feet of water. It's a wet basement. It was meant to be one that gets wet from time to time, so
Right.
it was kind of prepared for that. Luckily, there's no damage to anything. But had I had an inspection, I probably would have known about that beforehand.
yeah,
Would it have stopped you?
No, I would have just prevented it from happening. It
right,
doesn't have a sump pump either. It's an older home.
right. Yeah, see, I recommend to all my clients to get a home inspection. Even though I've been in however thousands of houses, I still, when I'm looking through the property, I'm not looking at it with that kind of eye. It's always good. I recommend it because you bring in somebody that is looking for defects in the property. Like, so I always recommend it, but not everybody does it for all different reasons.
It makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, the only thing that I'd be terribly good at is the framing stuff, and
Right.
yeah, and most of that's not exposed because it's all underneath
Yeah.
everything else. So it's not like you're going to be picking out flaws. And even if you did, not that hard to fix. Most
Right.
of the framing issues, things going crooked and that kind of stuff. Unless it's a floor. A lot of houses in the region have floors that are just
Wonky
going
floors.
tilty.
Yeah. Houses with crawl spaces, very common
Yeah.
to see wonky. Yeah, for sure.
That's one of the first things that if I walk into a home and it's like that, I usually just get out. And there's not much because there's like nothing you can do
It's
about
not
it.
easy.
No.
Yeah, it's not easy. I know. And there's crawl space. If you're looking and it's a crawl space, older home, very likely wonky floors. Yeah.
A lot of them in the region too. Where I come from up in Barrie, everywhere has got full basements, but here it's a lot more crawl spaces, a lot
Yeah.
more small basements that are just furnace rooms and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's different. You are interested in getting into the housing market at some point. There's got to be something that you would love to ask a realtor. I'm drilling you for questions just because I want to get something different.
Well, of course. No, whenever we talk real estate, we have in the past because you're the second real estate expert we've had. Definitely
Expert.
the most colorful.
Who was the first?
His name is Jeff Woods, the Wham property.
I'm not sure. No,
Pardon?
I'm not sure, but
Oh, I know his name.
Yeah.
Jeff Woods. He co-owns Wham Properties in St. Catharines.
nice.
He mentioned that he had somewhere around 100 units currently
Wow.
under his own
I guess
name
it's
or
property
company.
management,
Or whatever.
Wow.
real estate
Property management.
Wow. Good for him.
So whenever we talk about stuff like that, I take a back seat because you're obviously kind of knee deep in everything, and for whatever reason, I don't like talking about it because as I've said before, I just feel like I'm falling behind with it. And yes, I know you've said countless times.
Let's go off that. How old are most of the people that you see on a day-to-day basis?
How old?
Yeah, 30s.
It's not necessarily a prerequisite for
No,
Yeah,
no,
all
no, but
ages.
I want to. Are you falling behind? Are
No.
there many 20-year-olds?
Not
buying
definitely
houses.
not many 20-year-olds. I've done a couple deals in the last few months that blow my mind with some of these young Dutch boys that have saved every penny growing up on
Dutch.
farms. Yeah. And they've been able to purchase properties really young, like 20, 21. But I've dealt, like, I just bought my first house last year. I'm 35. I built a house. Took me that long to get into the market. I was selling real estate for 5 years before I owned a home. So,
It's always one of those weird things. Like I was framing houses for about 2 years, thinking, when am I gonna get?
yeah,
I'm building these things every day. But
yeah.
it's weird. You see it all the time.
I wouldn't worry about it as falling behind. I mean, when you get in, you get in. Real estate has a great track record of improving and appreciating over time. Goes through dips. Canada's been really good with not taking big ones like the States. But, I mean, whenever you can get in, I have lots of friends that don't own that are older than us. So, it's, yeah, whenever you can get in, it's good.
Case in point, I asked a very stupid question to your girlfriend, Tila, the other day, just because I was going through not necessarily the finer details of owning. Yeah, I think the stream stopped, so
That's okay.
I think if you just
Might be
refresh
intermission.
it.
Might be intermission.
It wasn't. Huh? Anyways.
Yeah. That's okay. It's all good.
I'll fix it in a second.
It's all good. I can pull it up on my phone too. So yeah.
I want to own a home. I want to own rental properties eventually. I look at what you have done over the past few months, and I wouldn't necessarily go as crazy, but drywalling isn't that. It's time consuming.
Yeah.
I've done it, and it can be done, and then everything else that goes with it. I don't like the idea of tearing down walls or.
Oh, I love it.
And
Yeah.
then I personally probably wouldn't be able to live without, like, you were living in.
We forwent. I don't know how you say that. How do you say forgo? I don't know.
Forgone.
It sounds like it's right.
We were foregone.
We went without a lot of basic comforts for a long time because it was the first place that we were renovating, and we couldn't have a second place to live while we did it. So it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it upon anybody unless they really are committed to the idea.
Yeah.
But I'm not against the homeowner side of things. It's just it all comes down to me actually figuring out what the hell I want to do with the rest of my life, because I can't do it right now. I keep looking at houses, and I do the stupid TD mortgage calculator, and I go through things, and what's a good interest rate?
3.29.
Okay, so then that's kind of roughly where I was going on.
It's pretty good.
And then, like, everything else, it's so on the cusp of being affordable. I could do it myself and my girlfriend, but then there's also the personal side of things. I'm just about to move in with her. Give me one more year. Let me know. And I say
How long have you been with your girlfriend?
We've been dating for. Oh shit. Well, you put me on the spot. I know this.
Well, ish. I mean, I don't need to know
More than a year.
More than a year.
Yeah.
A year and a half.
Gotcha.
And we're moving in together in July. And
you're planning it already.
Pardon?
You're planning it in advance that much already.
Well, it's almost May.
Yeah.
Almost.
How come July? What's
Roommate transition.
nice?
Yes. And once we
It sounds like a nice way to say it.
well, it is. It's 100% amicable. He's moving in with his girlfriend. So
Perfect.
It's a good transition. Actually, he's moving in with his fiance, but that's
So are you going there or is she coming here?
she's coming here.
Nice.
So I don't want to buy a house with her until I know that I can live with her.
Of course.
You already lived with Tila for a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's really the prerequisite. It affordability wise, it probably can be done. It's on that cusp where we'd have to watch our finances, but it can be done.
Yeah. I would recommend it if you wanted it, but what I tell all my clients, first thing you do is talk to a mortgage broker or your bank and see what you're pre-approved for. Do a full pre-approval, not one of these like bullshit 30-second ones online.
Even the ones, the banks, honestly, I really got into it once we started talking to our realtor and a mortgage broker, because we tried to go with CABC when I was just looking at what we could get approved for a long time back when we were looking for the first house. Mm-hmm. And they did the real pre-approval process and showed us all the stuff. And then we went to go buy a house, and all of a sudden all that was worthless. And it was a very long and arduous process to try and get approved for something again.
Yeah, so a pre-approval is only good for about 3 months. Mm-hmm. And
it was within that period, I believe, that we were searching, but messy.
A lot of people, mortgage specialists, whatever, whether they're in the bank or a mortgage broker, they tend to do really poor pre-approvals where they don't get all the information, because a true pre-approval will be a credit check.
Yep.
It'll be collecting your pay stubs, be making sure that you've paid your notice of assessments, that you don't owe the government money. not everybody
did all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and what were they? They were missing. There's always more.
There really wasn't much to be hung up on, and in fact, when we did end up getting a house, there was probably more little things disclosed about financial past and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Like that. It seems like once you get into a stride, it's not so bad. Like when we went to go buy this current house, we got approved for an amount more than $100,000 more than we could get last time.
Awesome.
And with like very little questions asked. There was no, is the money for the deposit in your bank account?
Right.
Okay, prove it. No, we didn't have to prove anything. It was
Right.
very easy to do.
It's awesome.
So once you own a property, it's much easier to get another one. I can say that much from my personal experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Worked with Penn Financial for that kind of stuff, which I like.
Nice.
Penn Financial.
Yeah.
You seem to be a friendly bank.
Yeah, nice.
A lot of people want to get away from the bigger banks, and I can't blame them.
I like my Meridian Credit Union, except for yesterday. I had so many banking issues,
Oh no.
and at first I didn't know what was up. I was trying to get stuff done.
I think it's something to do with the Easter.
No.
No?
No. Meridian, all the banks across Ontario were closed because of some, they haven't disclosed everything, but it seems like somebody threatened physical harm to some of their locations, so they just closed it down.
Oh really?
Dude, I'm not lying to you. Do your research.
I haven't heard this yet.
Oh, yeah.
Because I use Simply Financial, and they had a bunch of things where they weren't showing transactions from the past 4 days or whatever, and there was a bunch of weird things where...
No, that was... Unless there's something bigger at play, but for a while I couldn't log into my bank stuff, I couldn't log into my business stuff. I'm like, thank God it's like Easter Monday and not in the middle of the wedding season or something, where checks are now bouncing because they
Right.
can't do stuff. But
So you're with Meridian?
yes,
Yeah, I bank with Meridian as
I
well.
like Meridian.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, it's the only bank we have in Wainfleet. So
Really?
yeah,
That's a strange thing. It's a credit union.
yeah. Well, only 6,000 people in Wainfleet where I live.
So how does that work? Is it the whole thing where you sign up and you're a member now of this credit
I own
union?
a
and
share.
You own a share, yeah.
for like $1 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be $25. Now it's $1. Yeah.
I got in when it was 25.
We've never
Same.
talked about banking on this podcast. What kind of things do they offer for there's usually a low risk investment plans and stuff they can offer, like a GIC and things like that. I don't know
Well,
too much.
the reason why I was with TD for a long time, and then when I got my business account, I got it live for you again. so
Beautiful.
to use
Thank
your-
you.
I was with TD for personal and then Meridian for business, and I
Nice.
thought that's great. It's a good divide. But Meridian was so good with my business account and good
Yeah.
like no fees and whatnot. Once TD started screwing me over with their credit cards, not in the traditional sense, they just every credit card I would choose within 7 months they'd no longer offer it, so I'd get another one. Like
Oh yeah.
that's annoying.
Yeah.
Pretty strange, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That is.
I closed everything and went to Meridian, and I'm very happy. And as far as investments go, I mean, I have standard TFSA, long-term mutual funds,
Yeah.
GICs. They were locked, and now I'm just waiting to...
Saved it.
You wouldn't be the first person.
Saved it. We're good. Did it screw it up?
Don't worry about it.
But no, GIC, I assume everything that a regular bank has, Meridian can do.
Seems like Penn Financial has a lot of the same options.
The only thing I thought was interesting when I was doing my mutual fund investing, they asked me if I cared about ethical investments, and I said, tell me more. They're like,
Right.
well, do you mind being invested in oil? I said, well, traditionally all the rich people are in oil,
Right.
so not at all. And they went through everything else, and then they're like, how about cannabis? Like, I think that's probably a good thing.
Yes.
I don't know. I do have to get to the bottom of this. Worst performing mutual fund is in all the cannabis stuff. I don't know
Really?
what is happening.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe there's some weird thing where
I
people
don't
are keeping their
understand.
business numbers low and artificially moving stuff
I have no idea.
in the wrong direction.
Maybe
for
it
the
was
first little bit.
overinflated before and it hasn't
true.
caught up yet. I don't know.
Maybe.
People are all pissed off at
I'm
government weed.
Well, maybe.
Bad
I'm
public
not
reputation.
pissed off at all because I'm still making money.
Good.
It's just curious because you would have thought that something so new
Yeah.
would do very well.
Yeah.
But then again, any idiot could be like, oh, yeah, well, once it's legal, We're gonna be rich.
Yeah, it's gonna blow up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow it, but I'm guessing over inflation. I'm guessing. I don't have investments, so I just hear what I hear. But that's my guess because I've heard a lot of that too. It was on fire, I think, before legalization.
Yeah, it was doing very well because I got in before it was legal.
Nice.
And it is doing better than it was then, but I mean, relative. I don't know. It's something where at the end of the month I look and I'm still making money, and I know that it's all an up-down thing, and it's all low-risk stuff anyway, so I'm going to make money.
When I think of cannabis, I think of the general state of our society and people. What's the general state of Wainfleet? Because I hear a lot of jokes about Wainfleet.
I would love to hear.
Yes, I want to ask him about some stuff.
I love it.
What Wainfleet?
Wainfleet's the best place in the entire world.
Really?
Hands down.
The only place that gets more jokes than Wainfleet is Welland and Dunnville.
Yeah,
I think.
So what
You
are
get
some?
shared on Welland Memes all the time.
I'm very fortunate to get on there, and it almost shut down yesterday
Yeah,
too.
do you want to know something?
What's that?
He's coming on.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I know. It
Rob?
has taken a lot of cultivation.
Yeah, Rob.
We
yeah.
don't know. He might bail on us. Who knows?
Oh, you know who he is?
I mean, I've spoke to him. He's a
Name drop. I don't even know. I never knew his first
A little
name.
bit of a name drop. I don't know.
I think we should bleep that. We should bleep that.
Yeah,
should.
maybe you should beat that up.
we're
Maybe
getting-
it's not. Maybe that's not his name. I don't know. I've
We're
never.
getting his grand reveal on this podcast.
That's
It's
amazing.
exclusive.
So what? You've talked to him just through private messaging, and
Yeah, and actually, I was talking to him last night when I seen that he was going to
I
shut
also
down.
talked to him
Yeah,
last
I'm
night.
like,
the city wouldn't be the same without him.
I'm like, you're gonna shut down? I'm like, can I call you to talk about this? And he gave me his number, but I was busy doing a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, how late can I call you? And he said late. But then when I messaged him late, he didn't respond. So
You weren't the person that offered to buy the page for $5,000, were you?
That's not
no,
enough money.
but that's not a terrible price.
He said somebody offered to buy the page for $5,000.
Yeah.
It's to buy 11,000 followers. That's,
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
That
You-
are pretty
you-
passionate about the topic.
You
Yeah.
better be a good shit disturber because Welland needs him. I'm sorry, lots of people hate him. But
Really?
oh my God, have you read his comment section?
I mean, but are they just joking?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think people have a deep hatred of him.
He jokes, but because I contacted him in the winter saying, hey, like we just had Niagara 411 on.
Yeah.
I know you have shared some of his stuff. Let's get you on. We'll backlight you. We'll make it look like you can stay completely anonymous. He's like, the weather's not good. I'm not going to come. He bailed on us. He's one of the reasons why we booked so far in advance.
Yeah, hey?
And he just kept going. So I finally contacted him again. I'm like, okay. Hey, it's 2-1 now.
Oh, nice.
Coming back.
I contacted him again. Like, it's anonymous. Come, let's talk. He's like,
Is he really about staying anonymous though?
Yes.
He is?
He hasn't published anything about his and it's a good idea. I think that he doesn't because yes, I think he would suffer some kind of repercussions from being public.
but then
people
he came
ostracize
and
him
said,
and such.
you can ask me whatever you want, and I'm not going to hide, and I'll come on.
Yeah,
and,
I've asked him to be on a burger review, and he didn't say no. Just haven't put it together either. I think
so
yeah.
we're having him on,
I like it.
but he
But you said exclusive, so you're doing the unveiling.
yeah.
I love
hope
it.
so.
That's amazing.
I'd lose a lot
And
of
I'm
fun
glad
if
that he didn't close Welland Memes because
Yeah.
if he shares it,
one
that's great exposure.
one
to
of my
for
favorite
shitposting.
Facebook pages. I love his page.
It is. It's fun.
And when I was I lost my mojo. Talking to him, he was open about doing it
Yeah.
in an open and honest manner, but he made a post or a poll saying, I'm thinking about being on a podcast. Are you going to listen or listen and then kill me? And the comments on that, a lot of people want to know who he is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And he says as soon as he does the podcast, he's going to have to move to Font Hill to get away from everybody.
I love it.
So it'll be interesting.
It's so
2 weeks.
there's a bit
Yeah.
of truth in every good joke, and it is true. You go to Fawn Hill, it is nicer.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
I went
blatantly
to the
nice.
Restore in St. Catharines.
Stupid outdoor.
Oh, it's wind.
Yeah.
I went to the Restore in St. Catharines a little while ago, and I thought, gee, this is a nice store. There's plenty of useful stuff. I went to the Restore in Fonthill. And holy shit.
Ballin'.
Like,
I
Yeah.
bought a stove and a bunch of cabinets from there.
I know. I couldn't believe it. And then my girlfriend got mad that I went to 2 Restores without her. Apparently I don't go shopping.
Oh.
She didn't get mad. I shouldn't say that. She never really gets mad. She's like, you went without me?
It's an interesting way of voyeurism that you can walk through the dismantled things that were in people's houses.
Yeah.
As if it's an entirely publicly accessible thing. Peering into people's lives. It's funny. It all looks like it belongs there, but it's all ripped out of people's houses, and you can't believe it. So much of the stuff looks so neat and well kept.
Yeah.
I love the Restore.
Yeah.
Everything about it. I'm like, that looks... I have a feeling that these cabinets, from what I was told, actually came from the Restore.
Probably.
So,
Could be.
Look pristine.
yeah, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. It's a great experience. But yes, Fonthill is so much better, and you can tell based on the stuff they donate.
Yeah, Fonthill's a nice place. I mean, it's right on the border. I always, growing up in Wainfleet, and I still want to hear a Wainfleet joke, but I never... Yeah, you can think about it
Something
while
about where do people in Wayne? Well, it's not really about Wainfleet. It's about Dunville.
Dunville.
Something about people in Wainfleet when they want to go to the zoo, they go to Dunville.
They put a fence around Dunville. Yeah.
Something like that. But I'm sure there's one. I'm sure there's one about Wainfleet. A lot of the people that maybe lifted trucks and all sorts of weird car mods and stuff seem to come from Wainfleet. That's a weird trend.
Maybe a lot of guys in Wainfleet drive trucks. Yeah, a lot of farmers.
And a lot of
4x4.
a lot of young kids with lowered cars or underlighting and fancy stuff like that.
That comes from Wainfleet too?
It seems like it.
I don't know. I would almost feel like that'd be more Welland, but
I sold a Pontiac G5 manual transmission, tinted windows. Some teenager had it, basically teenagerified the thing. Guy in Wainfleet bought it.
yeah,
Yeah. From Welland. I sold it from Welland to
Now it
Wainfleet.
has monster truck tires on it.
that's hilarious. Yeah, Wainfleet's a great place. Are you guys familiar? You ever go out to Wainfleet ever? No.
I used to
No,
be,
never. Won't cross the border.
I might have come through there a couple times.
I
Yeah.
used to basically be akin to a traveling salesperson for a while. I used to do baby photography, and it was in-home baby photography, so I've been all over the Niagara region. So I spent a fair amount of time in Wainfleet, as long as there are babies being born.
Right.
So Wainfleet, Welland, Dunville, all over Port Colborne, Crystal Beach.
So you're familiar.
Yes. And
So, but hold on. Wainfleet's got a bad rep out this way.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I work on a construction site, so they'll shit talk anywhere, but
so
Okay.
they
yeah,
get
yeah.
some of it.
when we go watch stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
I have found that there's a few comedians that must use the same material, exactly beat for beat the same material, but go to different places and must ask the manager of the club or the comedy club saying, so where's a place that people shit on? Because when comedians do come here, even though they're not around here...
Can we get a little more of this? Sorry.
You probably in the fridge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which
thank
actually
you.
didn't shut off today. Welland and Wainfleet are always the common denominators, so sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. I went to high school in Port Colborne, and the way it kind of worked was people from Fort Erie, thank you, would make fun of people from Port Colborne. People from Port Colborne would make fun of Wainfleet, and then Wainfleet of Dunville. And I don't know who they get to make fun of, but
People across the border, maybe.
I don't know. It travels west. I don't know. Cayuga. I don't know. I don't know.
Cayuga's not that bad.
I don't know.
Cayuga's a nice little small
I
place
know.
to drive through.
I know. I
Lots
don't
of
know who
gas
Dunville
stations.
makes. I guess Dunville makes
Gas
fun of
stations
Wainfleet.
and one Tim Hortons, and that's it.
The
Yeah.
roads are there's no potholes. It's nice.
No.
Yeah.
I always wondered what it'd be like to live. I drove through Jarvis on the weekend, and I was talking to Melissa saying, it'd be so weird to live in a place like this. Like, there's 100 people. The dating pool would be so small. You gotta drive 30 minutes anywhere to get anywhere.
Yeah, that's like Wainfleet.
Just, what? So,
Yeah.
but you're in your job, you live in Wainfleet, but you're in other parts of Niagara consistently. So
Yeah.
you get to see the light occasionally.
Yeah, I get to step out of the barn for a little bit. Yeah.
Step out of the bar. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I do business all over Niagara, but I always find it funny when anybody makes fun of Wainfleet because it's literally one of the best places
What
ever.
makes it the best?
I mean, it's a rural community, right?
Maybe a sense of community. People talk to each other.
I grew up there, so I'm completely biased.
A
But
little bit.
yeah, a little bit, a lot, for sure.
A lot of it.
I don't know. It's small. Yeah, you don't have neighbors upon you really tight. It's nice to have some space. Grew up.
If you're a nudist.
I should
Yeah.
start. Is it rural enough that people say do target practice with guns on their property?
Of course,
That's
people.
awesome.
Yeah,
I should go there more often.
we don't have a police station, right?
Oh, hopefully not a lot of crime then.
I don't know if it's self-governed, but it maybe is a little bit because it's very rare that I hear. I'm sure there's crimes going on.
Yeah.
There is for sure, but people get along pretty good in Wainfleet for the most part. I'm not going to say every person gets along with everybody, but it's people get along, and when there's something wrong, they basically figure it out. I don't know. I love Wainfleet, and it's great like that. I grew up on a farm, like tons of farmers. That's the number one economical driver in Wainfleet is agriculture. So farmers, they're good people. They work hard. They like to have fun, and it's a good life. I mean, this is where a lot of produce comes from, is from Wainfleet. So you want good organic produce, Wainfleet.
Can you go there and like buy it locally, like in
Of
some kind
course.
of market? They got a market somewhere.
Well, that's good. Last year they just started for the first time ever a Wainfleet farmers market. I think it's on Wednesdays, and it was mornings before. It was held at Meridian Credit Union in Wainfleet because they're really socially responsible. So they hosted it, but a lot of the farmers, I don't think that they're depending on that market because we got so few people. They go out to
Small
Port
thing.
Welland.
I know that St. Catharines has a little market in the downtown area.
Yeah.
Weekly, twice a week, I think.
You guys ever go there to buy produce?
Yes.
I
I
have.
love
Yeah.
that experience.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's great. I mean,
I do want to say, I wasn't sure what your answer was going to be, but you legitimately just painted Wainfleet in the best light I've ever heard.
Now I want to go visit.
yeah, there's not. So it's funny because people growing up in Wainfleet, they're like, "What the hell did you do growing up?" I mean, literally throwing rocks in a puddle was fun. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's easier or harder to get yourself into trouble in Wainfleet, but I don't know. You find ways to have fun as a kid. You don't live right next door to anybody. So when you want to see somebody, you got to jump on your bike and ride like 30 minutes to meet up with anybody. I don't know. It's country living.
I like you maybe get to push the limits more than kids in the city where, if you, I don't know, if somebody had a dirt bike and they're ripping it over to their neighbors and they're riding on the road without a license plate because it's a dirt bike, they might get away with it out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Wouldn't get away with it in the city, that's for sure.
Yeah, Wainfleet, lots of motorized vehicles doing things, for sure.
Probably lots of snowmobiles, too. Mm-hmm. I got used to a lot of that where my parents are from, near Barrie, Innisfil, kind of more countryish. People just ride snowmobiles all over the place because the lake's right there.
Yeah.
They go ice fishing.
Yeah.
So you catch them all over the downtown streets.
But if you said to me, like, Joe, you're painting a good picture of Wainfleet, I'm going to go out there, you're not going to find a whole lot.
No.
Well, as I've said, I've been...
There are things. If you're going to go to Wainfleet,
What's the list?
There are
the
things.
Marshville Heritage Festival, once a year. If you've never been to that, it's the same every year, so you don't necessarily want to go every year. But you go once, it'll be, because it's heritage, right? You're looking at old stuff.
Guess it doesn't change.
Yeah, there's no changing there. So it's the same thing every year.
Probably go once every 10 years.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an
Stuff
experience. Yeah, I like to go because I see everybody around.
It's a marketing tool for you.
Yeah,
too.
I like socializing. So yeah, marketing, socializing, seeing everybody. But
Social marketing.
that's the biggest event we have. I don't know. Like the most popular spot is the Beervendale. I've done some videos there.
Beervendale.
Yeah, that's an Avondale that sells beer and liquor, and it's
Wow, we don't get those out here.
it's an amazing spot. It's the busiest place by far. And yeah, they sell beer, liquor, cigs, lottery. They've got a donut diner, and they're open till 11. So people come from all over to get their booze.
Donut Diner, the brand, the
Yeah.
chain.
It's
Okay.
not because technically a chain anymore.
No,
They years ago, it used to be a franchise,
right?
and then the franchise kind of, as far as I know, maybe it's changed, but as far as I know, it used to be a franchise. Franchise stopped being a franchise, but they let the independent owners still use the name and whatnot. So
Fancy. You learn something new. I was going to say, like, there's a donut diner on Niagara Street in Welland that's
Yeah.
right beside an Avondale. So I don't know if there's something
Some kind
with
of
that.
yeah.
I got denied employment by a donut diner once.
Oh yeah, what did you apply for?
Nothing good. It was when I was in school. I applied to just be a breakfast line cook, and apparently I didn't get the job because I didn't handle my eggs well.
Ah, screw 'em.
Yeah.
You can make your own eggs.
I'm gonna take more opportunities to plug Wainfleet though. 'Cause there's other good things.
Do it. I don't-
There's actually really good eating there.
Okay.
And you would know.
What
Lots
kind?
of good
What kind of-
burgers.
Yes. So I mean, there's a 2x4 diner, and they serve yes, and they serve great breakfasts. It's awesome. So if you're ever feeling like a little cruise for breakfast, 2x4 diner, you will not. You'll be happy with it.
This
for
video is sponsored by
Yeah.
2x4 Diner.
I love it. I
Call
love
us.
it. I love it. I just sold it recently, so yeah, helping out. I represent the seller, but the buyer, I hope she's doing well.
I was
It looks like-
actually going to ask that if you handle mostly residential, or do you do commercial real estate as well?
like most, primarily residential, but I do some commercial. Recently selling the 2x4, and I've done a handful or so of commercial deals. Biggest deal I've ever done was a commercial deal, which was nice, but yeah, sprinkle it in. It's gonna happen.
I can't go over the fact that it's called 2x4. That's so
2x4. It's been that since forever. And then I'm going to keep going. DJ's Roadhouse is a seafood place down deep. Yeah, Long Beach. It is rammed. It's only open for about, I don't even know, 4 or 5 months of the year. Only like 4 to 8 p.m. But you go, it's rammed, and the seafood is great. If you guys like seafood?
Yeah, what kind of seafood?
Hey.
We're talking like stuff from the lakes or stuff
Yeah,
from
they
the
have
ocean?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I'm not a
They
connoisseur.
have perch.
They have perch for sure.
Okay. I like
Yeah,
perch.
perch and shrimp, and I'm sure there's scallops. And I've had their fisherman bowl where it's got a mix of things. It was really good. What's the squid called again?
Calamari.
Yeah, calamari, where it's hand cut there, and if they're hand cutting it, they bread it there. Really nice.
I like calamari.
You don't like seafood?
I'm not a
Okay.
I'm
I love seafood.
I'll eat fish like perch every year, fresh caught perch at Lake Erie.
So, can you name any other lake fish? I'm curious.
Bass, right?
Okay. What kind of bass?
Big mouth.
Yeah, small.
Small
Small
pickerel.
Whitefish.
Pickerel.
Yeah, pickerel, walleye,
Yeah.
which are
I'm not a
usually the same
big
thing
fish
for
connoisseur.
Canadians.
No.
Yeah.
Pike,
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
smelt.
Smelts
I
are
feel like
good.
I can name a lot of fish.
So you like seafood?
I love seafood.
So DJ's one time take the girlfriend out there. It's right by the
This video
beach.
sponsored by DJs.
Yeah, this is, let me tell you, a great date night, Wainfleet style. Okay, you go out. I don't know what order you want to do it in. You can mix the first two, but you go to DJ's, have a great seafood dinner. If you go on a Saturday, their prime rib. I can't believe how good it is. I had it last year, really good. Maybe you guys go together. You have seafood, you have prime rib, and you can sit on the patio or inside. Either is cool. Right next door, they've got a mini putt where they actually have really good.
Mini putt.
Yeah, really
Double
good. So you go DJ's, you hit up dinner, you go mini putt, you grab a homemade ice cream sandwich made there. They actually have the best French fries I've ever had in my life, but you'll probably be full. And then you go hit the beach, Long Beach. It's the most beautiful beach in all of Niagara, hands down.
Really? I mean, I've been to Shirkston Shores quite a bit.
Shirkston's nice, but
So
Not
Shirkston's
like
nice,
Wainfleet.
but if it ain't like that, then
No.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's be honest. The worst of beaches can still be good.
Well, I mean, rock's not nice. It's nice
I
sand.
know,
There's
Yeah.
a lot of crappy ones in St. Catharines.
but still, even the worst of beaches have never let me down.
Yeah, I guess it's better than a not beach. I guess,
It's better than a desert, I
But-
suppose.
but yeah,
I'll
it's
jump
nice.
in the Chippewa River if I'm if it's too hot outside. So yeah,
Yeah.
So swim anywhere.
Yeah. DJs, mini putt. It's the hungry putter. Then walk the beach. You can walk good hour, half hour
Nice.
out, half hour back. That's a date night right there, or a buddy night or whatever.
Buddy.
Yeah, double whatever, whatever it is. And yeah, there's Concessies. That's a convenience store right there. They might have some live music going on while you're down there.
A convenience store with live music.
Yes.
What the hell is happening in Wainfleet?
This is-
Wainfleet. So like this is the thing. There's only so many people. So when you have one thing,
It's
you
like
gotta
a
have lots.
Microcosm of just interesting things in one place.
Yeah. So yeah.
I never knew.
I'm moving to Wainfleet.
See, now we're talking. So yeah, Concessies. It's a convenience store. They've got like a diner in there, and then they've
live
got
music.
live music out on the patio. And I think I don't know, people playing. They got sand volleyball there too. Sure. Yeah.
I thought Port Colborne was weird with their Service Ontario / flower shop.
Right.
But now I know there's
Flower
more.
shop's also for sale, as far as I know.
Is it? Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
If
I
you
like
want to
it.
work in the same building as a Service Ontario.
Yeah, it's probably a good spot. It's probably busy there, so it's probably pretty
For the
good.
Service Ontario.
Yeah.
It must not be, actually, because there's like 3 chairs in Service Ontario. And
Really?
honestly,
Well, I guess not as busy as one in St. Catharines.
I went there because I read the reviews. When I got my truck, I needed to get a license plate. And everybody said, quickest service, people are good. For the most part.
Yeah.
Went there, they did not lie. I was in
service
and
and
out,
people were good.
in and out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Got a license plate. I was like, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I've seen that before too. I've never gone there before. I've gone to Welland, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I didn't go to because everybody had a miserable time.
Yeah.
Service
They
Ontario.
get busy there
That's
too.
what you get.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah, something I just learned about Service Ontario that some are privately owned.
What?
Do you know this?
No? That seems...
I just learned this over the long weekend.
How do you privately own something that deals with, like, Ontario
I hope I'm
government
not
level stuff?
misquoting this.
Okay,
That doesn't
Can
make
we
sense.
go to Google?
He's gonna fact check because that
Yeah.
sounds absurd.
Maybe this is
it
fake
does
news.
sound absurd.
that's
I
like saying,
believe you.
That's like saying,
I don't know if I believe myself because when she told me,
Well, that's like saying the CRA is open to franchise.
okay, so I was trying to call
Number
Service
one
Ontario.
franchise that would piss people off. The CRA.
Yeah, I was trying to call, and that I was calling different locations, Welland, whatever, St. Catharines. Finally, one picked up, and I'm like, "Thank you for answering." And then it came up something how they're privatized, and that's why they're working, and the other
Because
ones,
they can make their own schedule and
yeah.
that's
Are you finding it?
blowing.
I'm gonna
Is there a little
from the
something,
Ontario.ca.
or was I wrong? I don't know. This is good. I didn't follow up with my own fact check, so this is good.
Well, that one was just so. That's a mind-boggling thing. So
Fact checking is a thing that I do in my spare time because, yeah, like you, I just inherit all these little tidbits of information and I don't know whether or not they're true. But if I say them to enough people, somebody will correct me eventually if I'm wrong.
So we got something there? This is
Yes.
interesting.
It looks like he's digging through a frequently asked questions or something like that.
if Service Ontario determines there is a need to establish a new private Service Ontario centre in a particular community, we will acquire a service provider to operate the centre using our existing vendor of record. The vendor of record arrangement is an approved list of individuals and businesses that are pre-qualified to become service providers to operate private Service Ontario locations.
Wild, eh?
Yes.
Okay. So, Jesse, we need to find out what makes you have all the prerequisites, and we should open a Service Ontario.
I love
we could
it.
do it better.
We could have the best service in
Yeah.
Ontario.
I love it. I
place.
love it. Put me in for like
Although,
10%.
Let's be honest. Privately owned, that means you're a franchise of the government.
That's cool.
No.
You could
It'd be worse than being a McDonald's franchisee.
if you could make your own hours, what else can you do? You could
This is
probably
good.
customize it a little bit.
Just like the guys that answered, they're doing it better than the other ones.
That's true.
And I don't know if ports
Good
were
hours,
privatized or
free
not.
coffee and Timbits.
There it is.
Somebody to help you that is not miserable on the worst part of their day.
You know what? It's worth looking into.
I love it. You're welcome. Give
And
me
Joe
the,
said he was in for 10%.
yeah,
you
10%.
heard that here.
Yeah. Sign me
Verbal
up.
agreement.
Sign it up.
Son of a bitch.
Maybe that's why it's in a flower shop. Just
Maybe.
trying
Yeah,
to keep
they
the
own
atmosphere
both.
light.
Yeah, I don't know.
They were a flower shop. The government's like, hey, you're pre-qualified.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
give
run
out,
both.
Do you
we'll give
think-
out license plates.
Do you think you have to register, or they go through their list of businesses that are registered and they're like, hey, you've been pre-qualified. Do you have any desire to run a Service Ontario?
That sounds like jury duty, except you can make money.
I don't think they're that progressive. I think people apply for it.
Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
So which one was the one that picked up? Which one
It's a good question. I think it was the one on St. Paul, 301 St. Paul there. I
Okay.
think, but I don't know.
That's a
Maybe
big
not.
one.
Maybe they sent me there.
So-
I called so many. I don't know. It took
Because-
forever to get one.
That article said it has to be in an area where
It's
it would
required.
qualify. It would require.
St. Catharines is a big city.
yeah,
and
but we
if there
already
wasn't
have
one-
multiple Service Ontario locations.
It's true. But none that are right downtown that I can think of other
Well,
than St. Paul.
St. Paul, but you would think, like, for them to say, "Oh, we need it," you would think the government would be like, "Yeah, a Service Ontario on St. Paul Street makes sense," versus a independent business owner thinking, "I'm going to open up a Service
Right.
Ontario place in Wainfleet."
Right.
The government would probably be like, "Yeah, we have St. Catharines. You can take Wainfleet."
Yeah, Wainfleet, you can have it.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's something I didn't know. See,
I'm going to
pretty-
do some research on it.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
good
pretty
idea.
cool. Yeah.
I wonder if they offer, like, if you, as a independent owner, I wonder if you get government benefits.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I don't know if I care. I'm at a point in my life where I don't have benefits with my job, and I don't
Same.
personally see me
A
needing them
benefit.
until I'm
Until
older.
you need them.
Yeah, like if you need, like for instance, I have to pay for my dental visits myself, but I only end up going for something important every like 4 years, so it's
Right.
not that expensive.
Right.
Probably less than paying for insurance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not the worst. And anybody can buy their own insurance if you are a contractor or you do something else, or you do not have benefits.
It's something I've heard multiple times is it's good younger you are to get life insurance because it's cheaper than
I've
getting
had
it
life
later.
insurance for a long time.
But it
Yeah.
can go up once you actually would probably need it.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a lot of stuff with houses too where you have to get certain types of insurance and you have options to. Like for instance, I was offered insurance for injury where if I get hurt at work or I get hurt in my own spare time or whatever, mortgage payments could be made if I'm
Did you
unable to
take
work.
it?
Yeah.
Good.
I thought it was a
'cause
good idea.
You're at a job where you can get injured.
Yes.
You work for him.
Yes, as a contractor, I do a lot of different stuff. But yes.
Oh yeah, so
we
you,
work
you're
to-
you're doing multi stuff. You got the house going on.
I have like 5 or 6 sources of income.
I love it. Can I hear him?
A lot of it's odd jobs, but
Yeah.
so carpentry,
Yeah.
but also
Okay.
contractor work like other home renovations for both myself to make money.
So
But-
carpentry for yourself. Is this all on your own or?
Yeah, for the most. Yeah, like I work with a company. I'm an employee there doing
Yeah.
the framing stuff.
Gotcha.
But then I also do renovations for myself, which is in the real estate realm. But then I do
Nice.
renovations for other people, like if they want odd jobs done around the house.
Yeah.
I buy and sell things a lot. I
I
like
love
to
it.
collect vintage cameras and other things I'm very knowledgeable about and can flip
Yeah.
for a decent amount of money.
That's amazing. I
So-
love the hustle.
I do the photography and videography stuff with
Where-
DH Media.
Where do you find vintage cameras from?
See, if you're lucky, Kijiji or Facebook can work, but it hasn't worked for
Estate
me.
sales.
It hasn't worked for me in years, so I go to garage sales a lot. I worked at an electronics recycling and metal recycling factory, and I was on the floor, and I put a bunch of things aside and asked the owner if I could have them or buy them or
In
whatever.
St. Catharines?
In Barrie.
Gotcha.
Green Go Recycling, not Geep. Geep sucks. I work there too, but
Gotcha.
Geep is a terrible place. No, yeah, so I like
This
to...
video not sponsored.
I
by-
love
I collected a big bin. It kind of got me started. I collected a whole big bin full of antique cameras.
Right.
And now I have a huge collection, but also a huge amount of knowledge about
So
what is
vintage
valuable.
cameras, do they go up in value?
And
Do they hold?
this is an interesting thing to explain to somebody that might not care at all about this kind of thing or know anything. Film cameras,
Right.
there's many of them that were pretty expensive in their lifetime. Like
Yeah.
vintage, I'm talking about anywhere from the 50s to the 80s. Yeah, they were pretty expensive things. People would save up to buy the latest greatest camera, and there was pro cameras that only professionals bought, and there's ones that our family members who just wanted to take
Right.
good home photos would buy, which are still sometimes worth something today. But then right around the time digital started to kick in, and people started to buy digital cameras and stopped using their film cameras, everything dropped to like ridiculously low values. Like you could get cameras that had, in perhaps the 70s, adjusted for inflation, been worth like $2,000 or something like that. For now, you could buy them for $100 or less. People are giving away because they're these old antiquated pieces of technology.
Do they still work?
Yes.
Do they work well?
Depends on which ones you get, but yes. Right around 2007, 8, around there, people started to bring in interest. A bunch of hipsters and stuff, and people that wanted to use old cameras started collecting them. And I don't know what drives the force these days, but yes, and yes, they work. There's different types of cameras. This is stuff I love, but
yeah, I like hearing this. It's good.
The reason that a lot of
let's geek it out. Camera geek. I'm in.
The reason that a lot of them work are some of the older ones from the 70s and prior. A lot of them were based on a mechanical design. So that being said, is the core functions of the camera all work without a battery,
right?
Which is an interesting concept.
Yeah, it is.
Let's just say there's an apocalypse.
Yeah. Or
something. I don't know. I've always thought of this weird situation. Let's just say not an apocalypse, but you can't get power.
Yeah.
You could document the experience with a film camera. You couldn't with your digital. The thing would be dead in a couple days.
And what's a pinhole camera all about?
Ooh, so you do know something about cameras.
Well, I mean 1%, but
this is like a physics question. I also went to school for biology and a lot of other sciences, and
I roll over here.
Anyways,
only for the camera.
Just because I like the science.
I overact.
A pinhole camera. What do you know about film about a pinhole camera? Because then I can jump off.
All I know about a pinhole camera is somehow you have a piece of paper, you poke a hole in it, you got a box, and somehow the sun burns an image or something.
The invention of photography started with having...
So you're like fail.
No. You're right. You're right about it.
Okay,
the invention of photography started with the idea of being able to keep an image, keep the light that comes, you could see it through your eyes all the time, keeping it on something.
Right.
So some kind of, we do it with film, we do it with digital sensors these days.
Right.
But somebody invented some kind of film, we'll call it. A pinhole camera works because it's more simple than using glass to focus an image onto the film or whatever. It's literally, you're just using a diaphragm, a very small point, where all this light has to come into. Essentially what it does is sharpen it. Because if you, it's difficult to say, but if you
hardcore.
Just held up,
I know,
if you held up a piece of film for the right amount of time, and then hid it in a dark bag and developed it, you could get an image.
There's going to be an
image
image,
in front of it. It'd be very blurry. You wouldn't be able to make out anything. The smaller you close down a diaphragm, and you could almost do it with your hands.
Right.
You don't wear glasses, so if there's something in the distance you wanted to read, if you can make a really, really small pinhole with your fingers, you can sort of see how it sharpens it.
Interesting.
Yeah, right.
So I could see how I look on the camera.
It's easier to do if you actually poked a hole in a piece of paper.
Interesting.
But what you're doing is sharpening the light coming through it because it's all condensing through this small point. You're also making it darker, which is why you have to do long exposures with pinhole cameras because there's not a lot of light.
Like how long exposure?
It depends on the sensitivity of the film, but let's just say you want to take a picture in broad daylight, right?
Yeah.
The picture, you might have to take the picture for about half a second to maybe 3 seconds, which in terms of a picture is a very long time.
I didn't even realize it took a picture. I thought I've seen one before where
it was just casting it into a room or something?
I don't know. It was like, I could have sworn it was like a cardboard box with a piece of paper and a pinhole or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There are camera obscura, which is one of the first types of camera, but it was a thing that you could go sit in, and it was this gigantic box, like big, let's just say 6 by 6 by 6 or something.
Right.
That had a pinhole on the one side of it, staring out at the street.
Right.
You go inside this box, and it's pitch black except the light that comes in through the thing, and you sit down, and you can look at the back wall, and the image of outside is projected, although it's upside down because that tends to happen when you try to focus an image. But
yeah.
This is the weirdest tangent ever, but I love it.
Is it? I don't know. I find it really cool. I like it. Well, is the pinhole camera kind of the first camera, or how did?
Yeah, that would be the easiest way to do it because nobody really knew much about light and optics back when this kind of stuff was going on.
Right.
Film didn't really start, or using cameras didn't really start to take off until the late 1800s. Although you could do weird things like that prior. But
yeah. Do you know how cameras started? Like, I don't know this stuff. Is that getting too hardcore? It
probably started from a desire of people wanting to keep an image instead of, painting or whatever. It was just a different way to express an art or to capture something that's like image of a person.
And was the pinhole the first camera?
It probably would have been.
Yeah.
I mean, once people sort of got on this whole focusing light business and they had something like a film to keep an image on, they probably very quickly switched to regular glass optics that we know these days because it's a lot clearer. You can do it's a lot brighter. You can do a lot more with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time pinhole cameras get used now is for students and stuff that are trying to have a little bit of fun or do an experiment, and they work.
Yeah.
They work.
Built one in grade 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept it for a long time. I wish I still had it.
Okay, so let me break this down though, because I've never used one. Could you make one?
Yes, you can make it with cardboard.
Right.
All you need, which is I don't really know how you could make a film emulsion, but let's just say you bought the film, you have that given to you. Yeah, you could make a camera with a set of cardboard or whatever. It's not hard.
Box of cardboard, film in there, poke a hole in one.
Sure. And then as long as you have a way to move a shutter could be as simple as you cover it with your hand. When you find the thing you want to take a picture of, you move your hand out of the way so you let the light in for the right amount of time, which you can do some math to figure out how long that would be. And then you cover it back up. And then you take this to a dark place and you develop it.
But how would you know what the image is going to be?
You don't.
You don't.
Right? This is pre-digital.
Since or before digital, you never knew what you were going to get.
Right.
As a consequence of having all these film cameras, I spent maybe a year or two shooting almost only film, and it takes you back to an interesting time because I was around before the whole digital revolution, but I didn't really use the cameras that much. But going back to film as an adult, it's a whole new thing because you shoot this roll of 24 or 36 exposures, you have no idea what you're going to get.
Right. Now, is there anything in film like there are people with records and vinyl going to CDs? Is that anything like film back in the day going into these dark rooms? Is there something better about those pictures or not? Or is it pictures better now?
That's what the cult following and all the hipsters are on about. Because,
really?
Yeah, there's
This is interesting. You guys, I like it.
So if you've ever watched,
I'm not as tech heavy as him. I enjoy this stuff. And
if you've ever
watched
watched
it, but not like him.
If you've ever watched like a dark YouTube video or just a video that somebody shot on a low quality camera, you might see lots of weird colors pinging out of existence. It's called image noise, right? And it gets grainy and it has a weird look with digital. Film has the same thing. I don't know if you've watched much, like even film. What's a good one? The Godfather, or like something that was shot on film.
The Godfather, or an early version of Citizen Kane would have also looked really good.
Seen that. But okay, but just
Wizard of Oz.
There you go. The stuff that's shot on film and video is included in this has a graininess and even like a different representation of colors.
It's kind of like a throwback feeling.
A little bit, yeah. Like people use all these Instagram filters these days to give these weird looks. Some films, just that's how the film looked.
Right.
And it's this weird thing where nothing is a perfect representation of reality. Even just your stock camera on your phone, it's still approximating things, just like how film did back then. And they would have different shades of blues and whatever, because it's just the best representation of the color that the film could do at the time. So yeah, it looks different. To the untrained eye, and even to me in most cases, if you said which one's film, which one's digital, and they're shot at the same time, same place, it might be hard to tell.
Right.
But it sort of has a different quality. There's weird things people do to make the quality sort of really distinct. Like film has expiration dates. I don't know if you knew that, but it goes bad. It gets grainier, less sensitive, all those sorts of issues with time.
Apart, yeah.
But some people will purposely just let it go expired. And hey, this film's 20 years old or past expiry or whatever. Go out and shoot with it and get a weird look out of it. Or if you go through the airport, the X-ray machines, if you stick your film through that, and it gives you a weird look. So yeah, people are trying to get a different look, just like how people are going back to tapes and records and things.
Right. So now the cameras, is there a brand of camera that's more desirable? Like,
yep.
So what are some high end or whatever?
It largely has to do with build quality.
Is this funny? I don't know.
It's just gonna be me talking for like the next hour.
Because you get a kick out of this stuff, and it comes out of you.
It's largely due to build quality. Just like today, pretty much, the engineering capitals of the world exist in Germany and Japan, I would say. So most of the cameras come from there. Mm-hmm. But brand Leica is probably most associated with class and money. Like, for instance, if you want to buy like an old Leica M6 or something like that, which is a film camera, I believe from the 80s, one of those will run you maybe $3,000 for
Wow.
for a film camera. They, at the time,
Wow.
didn't cost nearly that much. Other brands like Hasselblad, which is funny thing, they took that one to the moon and did some of the moon landing pictures. Hasselblad is a company. I think they might have really hit a good stride at that point in their career. But I personally collect Nikon mostly, which is a
Right.
brand that's still around today and still fairly affordable. It's still very competitive in the market of cameras. But
What's the oldest brand that you know of that's made it through?
Leica,
Yeah.
that I can think of. I don't know if Hasselblad's older, but I know Leica has been very successful since about the 1920s.
Kodak's newer.
Kodak.
Are they even around?
Kodak is an older brand. They're not really around. I wouldn't.
Kodak is around.
They still
in
make
a
films and they stick their name on cameras
they're
from time to
around
time.
purely in a sponsorship manner.
Gotcha.
Companies.
Eastman Kodak was a
Yeah.
brilliant, well, guy and company, but yeah, they never really got on the board with the whole digital thing. Funny enough, they invented digital cameras in some capacity.
yeah?
But they didn't invest in it, so that was their
So
downfall.
then they fell behind there. Gotcha.
Yeah, but they still make films, and people still buy their film.
So
these
the
days.
cameras you have,
Canon in this.
you guys got a pretty cool setup here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really
like
like
that we're
it.
talking about cameras. It's cool.
Yeah,
I guess this is good advice, and we've given it a couple times perhaps, but if somebody wants to start a podcast or something with longer format, the reason we use Canon cameras is they're the best suited for our situation because you can modify the software and you can extend record limits and you can record for a long time. Like we've been going for an hour and 22 minutes and the cameras are
So
still going.
normally with these, I think even with your Nikon cameras too, though, with these cameras,
Record
there's a
limit.
limit in the file size
right.
where it can only go to a 4 gigabyte file size.
Right.
And a lot of these cameras, it equates to about 12 minutes
Right.
of high definition video. In long form video or podcasting in this case, they typically wouldn't work for it.
Unless you want to get up and
Yeah.
restart the camera every 20 minutes or whatever it
That's a
is.
pain in the ass.
So
Yeah.
because we're going with Canon, we were able to put software on it that basically when it stops recording, it still will only record for 12 minutes. It'll automatically start it again.
Ah,
So
so you hacked that in there.
yeah, it's
That's
a
it.
very stable hack
Yeah.
for the most part.
And if anybody wants to know why, it's a boring reason. It's for import taxes because as
Yeah.
soon as you
Really?
extend the record
Yeah.
limit to something that's not ending or very long, it gets classified as a video camera, which taxes on those are higher. So people would have
Really?
to pay more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So then you
Canon,
just hack it and then you're okay.
yeah, then you're okay.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Maybe you would know this. I heard this through the grapevine, but I wasn't ever sure. I need to do my research. Is it true that some battery grips increase the record?
Yep.
Because they can sell the camera as is, but then
Right.
a lot of cameras have battery grips.
We don't
which
have one to show.
I don't have
That's
one. I have them in my closet.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Love it.
You see this a lot if you've gone to a wedding and you've seen a wedding photographer. He or she probably has one of these stuck to their camera.
So this
Unless you put extra batteries in it because you need to be working all day. You can't be
Right.
switching batteries all
would
the
be your
time.
normal camera setup.
To drop that thing. I don't like Canons because they make you take the battery out of the camera. Nikon, the one stays in the camera and you just attach it and another battery's in there, but
Yeah. yeah.
that's a little nitpick thing. There you go.
And then-
the camera weighs another 10 pounds.
And now it'll record longer.
Not in his case.
Not in my case,
Some
but this
cameras.
one has it'll still only do 4 gigs, but it has a non-stop record, so it'll just start up automatically again. So you don't actually lose any data.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now the mics. What are the mics all about here?
So good. I love this.
Here you go.
So,
Well, I just have an appreciation for this because since
Well,
I said
I do want to say something before we continue. We were talking about you before you got here.
Yeah.
You are very watchable online
thank you.
because you sound good, first and foremost.
Really?
Yes.
That's the
And
first time I
you-
think I've heard that. Thank you.
Well, it's true in film production or in a lot of things. And I'm not saying you in general, but the video can be shit, and if it sounds good, it's automatically better than a great video that sounds horrible.
yeah, this is something I learned early.
And you use,
I didn't realize
you use
that.
wireless mics.
Yeah, so I have a lav, I have a reporter mic, and now that we're shooting with my phone, I have just a shotgun mic where I
Good.
throw the
because
dead
you
cat on
sound
there.
so much better. And there was a student house in Welland. That's when I first really started watching you, and you have a very interesting style of talking because the camera was down and you were walking in front.
Right.
Like, it looked very interesting, but I was watching with his girlfriend. I'm like, at the very least, he kind of knows what he's doing because he sounds good.
At the least. Love it.
But that's
important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Sound is crucial.
Yeah, it's key.
So-
And I didn't realize that when I started. I was never into any of this stuff until I started doing these videos and doing content creation. I thought, like a lot of people, you just think audio works. I think this is what people think.
The barrier to entry for audio equipment, good audio, as you know. What did you spend on your lav?
I don't even remember. I've spent a lot on different equipment. That's why I'm so intrigued.
Chances
because
are, and I don't want to say anything bad. If you
No.
didn't want to go the full wireless route, because what you're connected is wireless,
Yeah.
even though it's a foot away from it.
yeah,
The first lavs that we used weren't wireless.
Right.
It was a $30 lavalier microphone, and we connected it into a smaller field monitor.
Right.
And that worked.
yeah, that's awesome.
The reason that we've chose the equipment that we have is a little bit through what costs more money than... We started with these. I should start with that. We have H4n recorders.
Really good field monitors.
Which
trust them.
These handle all of the data, all the recording. They have microphones built into them, which sound good under the right circumstances if you can get them close to your face and all sorts of things, so that they understand they're getting less of a service for that money, and maybe they might have a second thought later and say, hey, we'll pay it all because we think it's important to get that last hour of, I don't know, the reception or whatever.
It all depends on what they consider valuable and who's paying for the wedding. In this case, the bride's father's paying for the wedding. He had a budget where I told him, like, you're on, like, the... Uh-oh.
But we found that we can get better sound for us, at least, because if we're hosting this, we should at least know to talk into a microphone so we can get something
I'm
that's in front of us.
bad at it.
Yeah.
Talking into the mic.
That's the difference. See, you're wearing a lav mic. We usually use that for guests because they can, throw their hands up
Yeah.
and get all,
And I have always thought that if you put a guest behind a microphone like this, I get a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
You have done the content creation, but
Yeah.
there have been some people who said, I thought it was going to be weird at the beginning, but you forget the mic's
Yeah.
there sometimes.
Yeah.
You're just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely more casual this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, you can get a better sound from one of these. This is just
Yeah.
like what would you call this? A studio microphone?
Yeah, this is
type of
actually, I
condenser.
can't even say entry level because there's some very interesting mics for like $50 nowadays.
Yeah.
That like these are
120.
yeah.
Yeah. And what's the screen all about there? What's that doing?
That is a pop filter. Now,
Is that to
I wish I
prevent
could-
clipping or?
I wish I could demonstrate this to you in a way that wouldn't hurt the audience's ears, but I'll do it after the show.
Sounds good.
So, if you use the letter P or other more harsh letters and words,
yeah.
there's an effect that's called a plume. And if you don't have
He
one of
knows his
these,
shit, eh?
if you don't have one of these, if you're listening,
Listening to Eric is like looking at the answers at the back of the book.
the microphone will limit out, and you hear very loud, like popping in your ear. It sounds terrible if you're listening to anything through headphones, especially, but even just regular speakers, it can sound bad. This takes essentially the energy that's transmitting through the air, and it sort of breaks up that really high
Right.
energy P before it hits the microphone diaphragm.
Right. That's cool.
So it gets rid of a lot of the harshness. It doesn't affect any other part of the sound, so far as I can tell.
I like it.
You would see this even in like in a professional recording studio for like a musician
Right.
singing.
Yeah.
Right? Because it helps with the, they call it dynamic range of the audio, where there's something that goes a little bit past,
Nice.
past the dynamic range of the microphone. So this brings it back down.
I like it. I like the gear. I like the setup. And that's a GoPro there, you said?
Just as a backup.
Yeah.
Because one of the hidden darker sides to the cameras is because they stop, there is oftentimes a gap from when it stops and when it starts.
Right.
Thankfully, because we start them at different times and they both do record at different points. They're never off at the same time. But we just use the GoPro
But
as
if
a
they
backup.
were, that records continuously, which is another thing. If you wanted to make a podcast or other long form content,
And the new GoPros, you
good.
can do you can go live on
You can live
social
stream
media.
them.
So you could just do a
That's
live
cool.
podcast with a GoPro.
That's cool.
There's lots of things that
Yes.
you could do. And if you just wanted to go sound, you can do it on your phone.
Yeah.
100%.
Just get the audio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
So
You guys
is there
got
gonna-
skills.
Is there going to be a Joe podcast now?
I mean, I've definitely thought about it, but it's nothing. I like doing these. This is good.
Yeah, this is great for our guests because they get to talk about themselves and they don't have to worry about any of the production side.
it's about self promotion, really. Like, you
Yeah.
are self promoting. I mean,
Yeah.
we know of you because of your self promoting.
Yeah. Or Joe Crawford.
It sounds, well,
Well, no, I knew about you before. I had contacted you
Yeah,
before.
Yeah.
But he had told a story about one time he was performing and somebody had asked him if he was Joe Gonzalez.
Yeah, and I get that about him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh my God, we should have you both on.
That'd be fun. I haven't had a long conversation with Joe in a while.
We'll
Chit-chat
schedule
every-
it. Let's do
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
He's
that'd be
a
fun.
good crossover.
he's a fantastic entertainer.
He
Oh
was,
yeah, he is. Yeah, for
he
sure.
was really good.
Yeah, he's been
playing it.
around doing stuff for a while. He's good. But talking about the other stuff too, what's the worst technical difficulty you've had doing one of these?
Last week we had a weird one.
Something happened with the microphone where our guest sounded very robotic. But it's okay, because there's other points of audio. If you're really, really well prepared or just lucky, there's,
Right?
there's audio coming from that camera,
Ah.
that camera, although it's garbage, and then that camera. So if you fiddle around with it, you can find something that sounds decent, say if that stops working. And
Right.
it's okay, it's a workaround. It's not the best, but
We, outside of the camera's not recording, which we have had it where they've stopped or the batteries have been full. We haven't, as I said before, we haven't lost an episode. We've had to make changes. Most of the time we are 100% in focus, which is great.
Nice. Then, did you do video right from the beginning? Like for the
from beginning
podcast?
podcast, it was
Yeah.
always video.
Yeah, it's smart. Good. So you
Video,
can hit
audio.
YouTube and all the different channels, right?
yeah. I mean, I think when podcasting started to take off, a lot of people just went with iTunes or
It took us a long time to get on iTunes
It
and
did.
everything.
Yeah.
We originally went the YouTube route, and that did nothing.
Right.
It wasn't until we
I
had
think it still does nothing.
yes.
Yeah,
YouTube
YouTube's
at this
hard to
point
beat.
is
It's hard.
archive
Facebook
for us
is-
at this point.
Right.
The
Facebook is better by a long shot.
episode with Antea was the first and last YouTube video that did really well because she drove people to that video.
Nice.
But like Niagara 411, it's been viewed, I think, about 11,000 times on
Wow.
Facebook and maybe 50 on YouTube.
I know it's hilarious.
So we're not driving anybody to YouTube, but now we are on Spotify and iTunes and podcast.com and the Google Play Store. And those do not amazing numbers. We're not famous. We're not
Yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah.
But if 3 people will listen to an episode a week on Spotify, I'm like, okay.
So where is Facebook your biggest
Facebook's
consumption?
our primary.
And then what about the podcast? Like just the audio part?
Well, we host. I feel like you're just getting all this information. And
Is this
the Joe
good or-
podcast is next week.
No.
We host on podcast.com. And for the longest time, we never did just the audio because when you're doing podcast audio, it needs to be hosted somewhere. Kind of like YouTube, but audio. And most podcast audio platforms charge a monthly fee.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
one
that.
day, I was Googling free podcast hosting, and podcast.com, which you would think
Would be
would
expensive.
be like the
Yeah.
ideal place, is free.
Huh.
100% free. There's some downsides. You can't schedule episodes. So whereas on Facebook, I can schedule the episodes, but I have to manually add the audio ones. But it's free. It links to iTunes and Spotify. So once it goes live on podcast.com, I can, and I do go into iTunes and Spotify and update the feed automatically. But if I
Right.
didn't, within 24 hours, it would update. So that end is costing us nothing.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And really on a week-to-week basis,
we do purchase new equipment occasionally, but
Yeah.
this week, outside of our time, costs us nothing.
Yeah.
Next week costs us $30 because we're adding a new piece of tech.
Nice. What's the new piece?
Basically, it allows that microphone that's you're using just to go straight to this. So that way I don't have to have two of these things. I can just have one.
That's sweet. I like
Simplified.
it.
We have the audio as simple as
Oh,
it can
no.
be, I think.
That's no good.
Boston just scored a goal.
I say, because I know it's getting late, but we should probably let the hockey game end on this episode. We got 20 minutes left. We can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
The audio is as optimized as possible. You
Yeah.
can bang out a full audio in very little time.
Oh yeah.
The video can probably be sped up in certain situations, but with new video editing technology, I can edit at a faster pace than real time.
Nice.
Do you edit any of your content? Because all the stuff that I've seen is just a straight one cut kind of.
Are
Yes.
you hiring
Deal.
content creators?
I have a team that helps me with this, and I've got somebody that edits all the videos.
That's good.
I'll do it for less.
I mean, I've got a pretty good system. I like that option though. You never know when that might be useful. But yeah, I don't do any of the editing. Yeah, so you're probably new to seeing any of my stuff, but I used to do Must See Mondays, which
Yeah.
I've done I think 68 of those, and that was, if you want to say, a little bit higher production.
I
Yes.
have seen one of those.
Yeah. So those, when they started, they weren't planned. I would just show up somewhere with a phone and record. But as it went on, restaurants would be planned ahead that I was going there, and yeah, there's heavy editing on it, lots of takes on stuff, and that was more. That was one of the reasons for wanting to go to the burger reviews. Was it's one take, one shot, unedited, unplanned, honest review with the Must See Monday. They're bringing me out these great dishes planned ahead. I don't know, burger reviews, you guys have seen them?
Yes.
Some of them anyway. I was really worried about doing them because I didn't want to give anybody bad press. I was really worried about doing that.
But reviews are...
I feel like I'd be a little bit less forgiving. I'd be happy to give bad press if it was deserved.
Yeah, see, being a realtor, I want to work on,
Now,
yeah,
on that note,
Yeah.
talking about burgers,
yes.
I cannot think of the last time I had a horrible burger. Like, let's be honest.
Wow.
Once-
I've had some bad burgers.
Really?
Yeah.
In the time you've been doing this,
Yes. Yeah.
so you have cushioned the blow of bad burgers by saying it's okay, by not giving your honest review.
No, I'm giving the honest reviews, but I thought the same thing. A burger is going to be pretty good, but I've found so far that there's
You're getting
first.
spoiled.
Well, there's a mix of things happening, but there's two burgers. Not two. There's a few, but you can have a backyard burger, which is a frozen patty that they're not making. And then there's homemade patties, but I've had more bad homemade patties because they tend to get overcooked more, and I'm only getting the lettuce, onion, and pickle. So there's no sauces to make them good. So I don't know. I've had hockey puck burgers along the
Really?
way. Yeah, like the first one I had was at Handlebar Hank's. One of my favorite places to get wings and pizzas. Great there, and get some OVs there. Shout out to Welland
Thanks,
Memes.
Welland Memes.
Yeah,
I tried OV just because of Welland Memes.
Yeah?
I think it was at what was that? Mike's something? No.
And now you're a fan.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's
I
okay.
think he's a part owner in OV.
The
Welland Memes. Yeah. I mean, it's just Welland pork over and beer. That's what we drink.
I have to say it's okay. Our old podcast set featured 114 beer cans in the background. Everyone was a different type because I went through a thing of trying all the craft beers I could.
Right.
I couldn't try them all, but I tried a lot of them, so I have a lot of opinions about beers. But yeah, it's okay. I would not
Okay.
buy it again.
No.
Nah, there's lots of options.
Should we
out there.
have OV here
For Welland Memes? Yeah, I'll have an OV for
100%.
that, I guess.
You have to have OV here.
I will drink a full beer for him.
I almost brought a 6-pack of OV.
I was going
just
to ask you if you had wanted some because it's a hockey game, but
I've heard that Old Vienna beer was a lot better in the past by nostalgic parents.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been drinking it
No.
like, I don't know, 10 years maybe. So I don't know,
Yeah.
20 years. I don't know.
Nah, it would be further back than that probably. Something to do with Molson, something, whatever. I don't know. I don't really understand what.
It's funny
We're
the
talking
OV. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people are don't like it at all. But it's very
It's
popular.
not bad. It's a very plain. It's a lager. It's
Yeah,
generic.
yeah,
I mean, it's better. I'll put it this way: it's better than Budweiser.
yeah,
Don't like Budweiser.
yeah.
It's maybe on the same level as Molson Canadian, which I don't really care for that much either.
I think it's better than Canadian.
so?
But, yeah. But I mean, when you live out my way, it's what's getting drank. So
It's life.
yeah, OV is life.
I'm also a bit weird in the beer category too because I really like stouts. I don't
Nice.
drink them all the time, but I do like darker
Nice.
beers.
Yeah, stouts are
I'm
good.
weirder in the beer category.
He
though.
doesn't drink any.
I hate it. I can't
No beer?
find.
No
Not at all.
ciders. No.
Not really. Like
So do
unless,
you not
unless
drink?
you count
He'll
like
drink-
Summersby
he'll
as
drink a
cider.
Summersby.
Ah, it's
But
a cider.
That's
But
no. That's fermented apple juice.
yeah,
Well, that's what a cider is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but like, no bad press, but Malice cider. That's a Niagara-based cider. It's like beer apple juice. Don't say anything.
What do you mean bad? No bad press. I thought you were about to rip them
No,
apart.
we maybe didn't work for that.
I know.
So.
Well, okay.
There's no. I'm not a beer person, so it's not good for me because it's really hopped up
right,
apple taste.
right, right.
No, I'm whiskey and rum.
Together.
Yes. Throw in a little tequila. I'm good to go.
Gotcha.
Sounds
No.
dangerous.
Yeah, beer has never been my thing, so it's always been liquor for me. And I always thought maybe as I get older, but every so often I'll try one
Yeah.
for fun. It's just there's something about it.
Yeah, I don't gotta drink it. I mean, drink what you like. It's all good. Yeah,
Yeah. In the end, it'll all fail our livers, so
yeah.
mine just a little bit quicker.
See, growing up in Wainfleet, we just drank it all mixed together in swamps, jungle juice.
I have had various experiences drinking like that. Thankfully, I don't do that anymore.
I'd see people do that at high school parties, and I'd just be like, "What are you doing,
Yeah,
you crazy people?"
yeah.
Oh, there's some stories. I think there's some really good drunk memories, and there's some really not so good drunk memories, and then there are the nights where there are no memories,
Yeah.
and I think those are good.
It's optimistic.
Well, for the longest time, I thought a local bartender got fired because of Justin and I.
Because they overserved.
They overserved, and I thought, oh, we didn't pay, and she got in trouble.
Oh.
Took a long time to find the receipt, so I realized we paid,
Well,
but
that's
just
good.
by happenstance that she didn't work there the next time we were.
Is there like a tailgating spot in Wainfleet?
Now that it's, you
Yeah,
know,
for sure there is. Friday night is our beer league, so it's co-ed baseball, starts in a couple weeks. So that's a good spot.
it does sound like an amazing
It
place
is.
to
It is.
live.
It is. It's literally the best place on the planet. I don't know. Niagara's a great spot. I don't know how you guys
Niagara
feel.
in general
I
is
agree
a
with
great
that.
spot.
Yeah.
A lot of people trash their hometown. Like everybody that's from St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, whatever, they always complain. And I don't. I love it here because I came from away and I stayed because of what I like.
I love it too.
Yeah. Yeah. St. Catherine's good. I went to Brock too. I like St. Catherine's. I went to Niagara
What
College.
did you go to Brock for?
Business administration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So legit kind of title.
Yeah, ish. Yeah. Yeah. And then I went to Niagara College, the Niagara on the Lake campus. Took human resources there. Have you guys? You went to Welland campus?
I did the Welland campus route, but I spent an okay amount of time at the Niagara on the Lake.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's amazing. I love. Have you been to that campus?
Yeah, I've sort of meandered around Niagara on the Lake several times, just spending an entire day looking at all the places. But
Yeah.
I don't really walk through it for any period of time.
They've got an amazing restaurant there.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
got craft beers there.
Yes.
It's
They
the
have a winery you can drink.
Benchmark, right?
Yeah, Benchmark.
We shot one of the nice things about doing the broadcasting for TV and film is we got to shoot a lot of commercials, and one of my favorite commercials that I've worked on, granted, was for the college, and all I was the DMT, which for people that don't know is the digital media transfer tech which means that I would make sure that the memory cards that came out of the camera got transferred appropriately to hard drives.
Right.
And in the real film
Data
world,
transfer. Yeah.
that's like a $35 an hour job.
Yeah.
Absurd.
It is.
I'm qualified.
I'm qualified too. But we shot a commercial for the Benchmark, and it was an amazing commercial. And the restaurant, aesthetically, is such a pleasing place.
And the food's good.
Yeah.
Did
We
you
got
try
to
too?
sample
Yeah.
it.
Nice.
We sampled pretty heavily, and because we were students, we got discounts. And
Sweet.
I feel like for the first little while, they did allow alumni discounts. I don't think they do anymore. I'm not sure, but
When I went there, they had the bench to go, and it was just
they
starting.
still do, I think.
And it was like super cheap. I know it's up more now, but it was like $3 got you like a little gourmet something.
Because all these students making all these food, they have to get rid of it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just pumping it out because they're just teaching people how to make stuff.
Have you ever gone there to try their beers?
No, I went to what's the place that's famous for like their stone oven pizzas on the
And
Strip, Niagara Lake.
Niagara on the Lake, I don't
I
know.
don't know. That's the place that I've eaten at the most.
Gotcha.
Anyways.
This video is sponsored by...
Which they all
Love
have their
it.
craft beers, but I didn't go to the college or anything like that for beer. Although I used to spend a little bit of time in the Sky Bar at Brock University.
Yeah,
So,
nice. Sky
Try
Bar.
some stuff there.
Isaacs?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what they call it these days, but
yeah.
it's crazy. Every time I went there, it was like empty. I didn't drink at usual times, I guess.
Thursday nights, that was the big night. Probably still is, I'm guessing.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the only time Niagara College had a bar called The Core,
Yeah.
and it was an okay bar, but I never went, except for one night when it was the broadcasting night, and I got loaded with our teachers.
Nice. That sounds like a good night.
And I feel like it's kind of stereotypical, and you could say, oh, science teachers really know how to drink. But I feel like film production teachers,
Artists are
the
gonna
artists,
be the heavy drink.
like,
Right.
oh my God.
They can have some fun.
Yes, and we did a class trip to Toronto to check out one of the most exclusive and expensive recording studios in Toronto. We then caught a documentary at a theater. We did a lot, actually. We went to a camera show, and then we went to a bar. And our teacher lived in Toronto, so he had planned it out.
Nice.
So we went to the bar to have a little food and a drink, and he got tanked.
Blissed. Nice.
So tanked that one of the students took the subway home with him to make sure that he was
Wow.
safe. Yes.
That's a good night right there.
On a Tuesday, when he has to be back at class at 7 a.m. the next day? Sure. But, yeah.
If I went back to university, I think I could probably get a lot more out of the experience.
Yeah, if I could go back and retake key highlights of my film course, I'd probably get a lot more out of it now. I don't want to take my electives.
Right.
I don't want to go back and have to take
Right.
HTML 5 or whatever it was. But if I could just go back and learn the film stuff, or if they had an alumni day where they came back and they let you use all this professional equipment to
That'd be
showcase
cool.
what you learned.
That'd be
and
cool.
what you've learned in the field.
It's a lot of trust with equipment. I think the insurance company would have a problem with that.
That's true.
Yeah. They
Some
got
of the
some expensive
equipment,
stuff there.
though.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of
Really?
cameras.
Wow.
I mean, these are just DSLRs that, you can bat an eye and it's maybe like, I don't know, $1,000 for a really good one or something, but red cameras are like certain
We were
high-end film
shooting
producing
on
cameras.
like $60,000 rigs.
That's so sick.
We had a gentleman who shall not be named, who is sporadically working in the film industry, although they don't know,
Why are we not naming him?
because he, on one of the newer cameras that we had, decided that when you put a memory card in, it's okay to put it in upside down. It wasn't.
He did this on purpose or accident?
I'm going to really hope that it was accidentally, because purposefully would be horrible.
Right.
But we were shooting, and he put the memory card in upside down and killed the camera. Like,
Strikes me as odd. I mean, I've never really questioned it much, but I think all that would have gone wrong is a couple bent pins. Because what was the interface? Like was it CF cards at the time, or was it something more advanced?
They were
XQD
or doesn't Red have proprietary card?
They have SSDs. I don't know what the module is that you plug in, but
I know we were shooting Red, but I can't remember.
well, usually they have a separate SSD module, so maybe that has pins on it. I don't know. It sounds like a situation in which there's little pins that stick up that you plug something in and the thing has holes and they go into the slot. But I guess he bent them or something.
So the problem outside of the fact that now there's a bunch of these students, because they were really honest. I had nothing to do with the camera, right? My department at that point was sound. The camera people, regardless of who did it, including the producer, who is overseeing everything, was on the hook for paying for the repairs. Now, granted, because it was insured, it was a subsidized repair and whatnot.
Right.
So they either had to pay for repair or they could donate their time doing inventory for the equipment facility for the college. He was not a popular person after that. But then, because we're in the middle of shooting our final projects, when the newest camera that you have goes out of commission and it's supposed to be used for the following week, it screws everybody up.
Yeah, I bet.
He got fired from his internship.
That sucks.
Doesn't make sense.
Because he, as a student, unpaid, went up to a lighting director and, as stereotypical as it sounds, says, I think you should do it like this. They don't like that.
Wow.
He wasn't on set for too long.
Yeah, I bet.
So, rule of thumb for probably most things, but in the film industry, is just be friendly to everybody, but don't tell anybody their business.
How to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about that. I like the light setup too. Is this a 3-point setup? Is that what this is called?
This is modified because of how we're doing it. We have heavy shadows, try to mitigate it as much. We change it up occasionally, but it's that one is focused on us, that one's you, and then this one's just kind of as wide as possible.
Good tip if you're getting into the most basics of lighting: keep the lights a little bit higher up than just level with your face. Right. Tends to fill in some of the shadows and stuff. It makes it look like you don't have a big bag on your eyes and stuff. And
then it's between, because I just got lights just like this, but these are even better. But there's like white and yellow, right?
Yeah. So with these, they come standard white. I think these have the filters on. I can't see.
They call that a color temperature. You might see it even on like light bulbs you buy for your house. It'll say how many Kelvin, if it's like 3,000 Kelvin or 6,000 Kelvin.
Right.
We're using white lights, so something that's higher than 6,000 Kelvin. But it doesn't really matter. When you're editing this later, if you do edit your own stuff, you can color correct depending on what kind of look you want to get.
That's another thing. Because we have done this for so long, our cameras, we have it white balanced specifically for this area. So that way I don't have to do any changes.
Which typically, in most cases, means that your whites just look white. Like, for instance, this probably looks fairly white to all of us. Although the camera might pick it up and it might be more orange than you think it should be. So you can dial it back to where white is. Or it might look too blue, depending what you do. But yeah, you've got all these little gels that come with it.
Nice.
You could use other colors if you want to. But
I've looked. Gels are affordable.
But blue and orange are the most common types.
So what would those be used for there?
If you want to paint part of a scene, well, let's just say you're lighting a set for like a movie or a commercial or whatever, and you want part of the set or somebody or something to be slightly more orange.
If you're filming a sunset
and something
or a campfire, in a horror short film,
you make it look the part by having it very orange and glowy and that kind of thing.
Love it. You guys know your stuff. It's awesome.
It relates to housing. If you've ever seen people that select certain types of bulbs for like a room, you can change the way a room feels.
Yeah, for sure.
Restaurants do it all the time.
Yes.
So
they usually go with warmer lights, like the orange one. I find in most cases.
When you see restaurants that don't, it's jarring when you see the food.
It can look like it can mess with the colors of the food if you don't do your lighting properly.
For sure. You guys ever look at real estate photos and can you tell that they're good or not? Or
We do real estate photos, but
Nice.
I have huge criticisms with some. Most of the time, I'm sorry, it's the realtor's fault. They just whip out their phone and they just do it, and you
Yeah.
can tell.
Yeah,
it's
for
just-
sure.
Do you whip out your phone, or do you have
No,
a
yeah.
proper team come in?
I have a photographer. Yeah, it's funny. You guys might appreciate this. When I started, it was uncommon for professional pictures on listings. Not never, but uncommon.
Probably on the higher end ones, right?
Yeah, you might see it on the higher end stuff. But when I started, I don't remember what kind of phone I had. Samsung S whatever 4.6.
Okay.
And my camera on my phone was better than our office or other realtors using their cameras. So I was using my phone and I was taking better pictures off the hop. And at some point I bought, I think, a Canon, and I was doing it myself, and that stepped up the game a little bit.
Yep.
But a professional is always going to do way better.
Two
than
things that make the photography: one, lighting more than any
Right.
camera, and two, staging.
Right.
If you have a staging company or somebody that comes in to do that, or at the very least a photographer that's nitty gritty and will order the napkins on the table and like make everything look
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That makes the photo, I think.
Yeah, that helps for sure.
Which I'm that kind of person. We don't have a staging company associated with us,
Shameless self-promotion.
but I will.
Yeah, you got it. I
I've
love
done
it.
stuff for like hotel
Bed
suites and
breakfasts.
that kind of thing, where you
You set it
arrange
up.
things to look good.
Yeah.
And you put your lights in places that make sense, and you
Yeah.
can make a room look very bright and colorful.
We're managing and handling the social media of a very successful couple of suites in Niagara on the Lake, where we've done the photos for and everything. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
The drone stuff too is pretty big for us. We like doing a lot of drone videography and photography.
Just gotta
Nice.
get licensed now.
Yes. Well,
There's rules on that now, right?
yeah, that's more for the there always was rules for business use, but now it's for like the general public, which is a bit of a shame.
Right.
I don't really know how enforceable all this is going to be, but yeah, the general public now has to basically take a pilot's license kind of
Really?
thing. Yeah,
That's what
there's
it
a lot
is?
of forms and rules. I've read through the form, and the reason I say that is when I'm reading through this and I'm trying to set up my drone to be and myself registered to it, I feel like I'm applying to be a helicopter pilot. Like the language they
Yeah.
use and the form style
Hey.
is very, very meticulous.
Huh.
It's interesting. Which, I mean, yes, there's dangers. Be responsible with your drones, but
Yeah, don't fly it into an airplane or something.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But most people just have good fun and they're out of
Yeah.
the way of everybody else and they're respectful. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the issue is. It's a pain too because I think it legally mandates that you must stay below about 400
Yeah.
feet or so, which before you should, unless you had clearance in an airspace, you could do cool things. Because
Right.
a lot of these drones can go like over 2.5 kilometers. Straight
Really?
Up. Yeah, they go way up there.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Like, there's other rules where people break it all the time. Anyways, you're supposed to keep it in your line of sight,
Right.
but
But a lot of them have such good video transmission that
Yeah.
you could take it somewhere else and you know where it is.
Yeah, you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're also good. They have really good return to home functions too. So if you do get lost, they should
They come back.
within
Battery
reason.
getting low or whatever they come
Yeah,
back
they
to.
can
Yeah.
spin right back around
Yeah.
and try.
The tech is amazing. What is available? Like, I know you were asking about this, but it's awesome to be at the point where I wanted for years to own this camera, and I finally do.
I love it.
And this has been something I've looked at for a long time, and I don't really have. I have functions for it,
Oh,
just not
no.
at this moment.
Oh
And
no,
I'm happy
Boston
that I
scored
own
again.
it.
Justin's freaking out too.
This is not
Boston
looking good for
scored.
Toronto at all.
Not at all.
It's not over.
Anyways,
So what is this again?
So it's a field monitor.
Right.
so your camera's got a screen,
Yeah.
but it's not versatile. It only points in one direction for the most
And it's
part.
small.
And it's
I'm
small.
getting older. I like to make sure things are in focus.
Right.
So you get this thing. It's not just a screen. It will also record large quantities of data. Like for instance, you could stick a 64 gigabyte memory card in a camera, but you can stick 500 gigs in that
So
thing
it's a
if you want.
480 gig SSD.
Sick. Lots of backup there.
Yeah. It will record outside of the camera, so I don't actually have to record with the camera. I can just record with this. And once I'm recording with this, that 12-minute limit
Right.
doesn't exist.
On any camera that you can use.
That's
this.
pretty cool.
And
That's not
it's
cheap, yeah?
No.
For what you, it's a niche. It's more of a niche product than a camera is. Like if you're gonna spend $1,000 on a camera, no big deal. But if you're gonna spend $500 or more on a field recorder, you better have a lot of uses specific to that device.
Right.
Like it doesn't really make sense for most people.
Really, for this, I'm not even joking. It will be nicer to have a bigger screen to make sure things are in focus.
Right.
But we want to somehow transition into more business commercial side of things. And when you're dealing with a actual director, when we do weddings, Eric's done video for me. His video, he's in control. We kind of talk about what we're going to do, but he's his own director. I'm my own director. I know what looks good for me.
Yeah.
When you're dealing the commercial side of things, there have been times where I'm really just a camera person, and the director has his or her own vision. So I see what the camera sees, and the director is off beside me, making sure that I'm getting it right.
Right.
And
That's
we're not
That's
conflicting.
pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
And then it helps because there's lots of utilities for it. It's just now that we have it, it's working it into the infrastructure. Theoretically, there's lots, as I said, there's lots that could be done. Even just as simple as making sure that that one's still recording. Although I didn't check to make sure that it would work before.
Right.
It didn't today, but that's okay. It's still recording. There's an endless amount of equipment that can be purchased.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know. I can't believe all this stuff. It's unbelievable.
I mean, you have a selfie stick that is more heavy duty than any selfie stick I've ever seen. At first, I thought you brought your own microphone.
That's hilarious.
Well, does it not, like at first glance, slightly look
No,
like
I
a
knew
shotgun
it was a
mic?
selfie stick.
I did not.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
That'd be a little intimidating, just coming in like, okay, podcasting time. Here's my
Here's my setup.
hook me up.
This is how I have to sound.
Yes. Tune to your own voice. That's another thing too. Some microphones will pick up a more smooth, velvety kind of voice, and it's better for sounding. I don't know,
Right.
if manly, if not just better.
Right.
But yeah, like your cell phone microphone probably doesn't do you justice, or anybody else that uses it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's good to have something nicer.
Yeah.
We have a minute left.
Are
Plus
there any other
stoppage
questions,
time.
any other points, any other things you want to talk about? First thing, we have confirmed that you are coming back with Joe Crawford, and we
I
will
like
make
it.
that happen.
I like it. I like
that will
it. That'll
be
be fun. Yeah.
Maybe by then the set will change. I don't really
don't
know.
know.
We don't know.
Have you aired Joe's?
Yes.
You have.
Go
I
watch
haven't
it.
li-
He talks about you.
Just
He
for
does he?
yeah.
That's amazing.
Just for him alone, I think it's worth watching. You should go back and
Yeah,
It's one of
I
our
will.
most entertaining beat for
I
beat.
don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe's great.
there's no dead air like
No.
sometimes we get.
He was really good. I had mentioned, because he used to do food reviews as well.
Right.
So I had mentioned in passing that there was another Joe doing food reviews. And he's like, oh, Gonzalez? Yeah. So
Yeah, no doubt.
once he had mentioned you, we thought it was a natural progression, and they lost.
Yeah,
It's
that's
over.
it. That's it.
Wow, that was almost in the net too.
At least Justin didn't swear.
Who was your first guest?
Ooh.
Oh, I don't know.
Uh,
It's been so long.
was it Antea?
No.
How do you know her?
I guess it's a good question as to why we know an escort.
Hey, retired.
Legit answer, I'm not even gonna make a joke, is just girlfriend lived in a house where it was rented. She came in as
She sublet it.
she was a subletter. I guess she just knew her for proximity. They weren't really terribly close friends, although I guess they got along. She moved out, my girlfriend, and ever since then I guess they stayed in contact. And it was
Gotcha.
just too interesting to pass up. Like,
Yes.
hey, this is somebody
In the first
we would
episode,
like to talk to.
there's a lot of interesting stories. I'll send you the link to the first one.
Yeah.
But the stories that she told warranted the fact.
Somebody that's got a view from the inside of some
Right.
entirely different thing that I'm not
Different
personally
world.
involved with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mention of drugs and
Sex,
crazy sex and weird fetishes and stuff.
Right.
abuse.
Although, and there's but there's also educational stuff. Like
There is.
She's a very sex positive kind of educator.
That's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I honestly think it was either her A gentleman by the name of Alex Kazam.
Oh, yes. Magician.
Oh, nice.
Illusionist and mentalist.
Nice.
He doesn't like to be pinpointed as a magician.
It's
That's what he
it's
is.
too good of a word to give him. He's an excellent performer.
It's either one of those two.
We gotta have
Or
him back on.
Justin.
Yeah, okay. Justin over there was on our
We did
New
a St.
Year's-
Patrick's
or
Day
St. Patrick's, yeah.
podcast.
It was drinking, that's all I know.
It was a lot of drinking.
Nice.
It was like 3 hours long.
Wow.
We got tanked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you had any repeat guests other than her?
G, he's a front man for a local band, Road Waves.
Johnny Tischler.
Johnny Tischler, he tried to run for mayor of St. Catharines. He didn't win, but we had him on before, during the election, and then after.
Right.
So.
That's cool.
And Joe Crawford and Joe Gonzalez when we get them back on.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
There you go.
Have you ever had two people at the same time too?
No, so it'll be different for us too.
Nice.
We will basically negate the new purchase of the new thing by having another lab with this setup. So it's going to be interesting.
Or
I
we
like
just
it.
buy this. It's $30.
We'll buy two of them. Sure.
No, we keep all of our guests in contact because we always think it would be neat to do what we're doing. This having the two Joes makes a lot of sense, but
Yeah, that'd be fun.
mismatching guests would kind of be an interesting thing to do eventually because there's different people with different viewpoints.
Maybe Welland Memes and Fun Hill Memes.
See, I was thinking about that, but it seems more like you'd want like Welland Memes and the chief of the Welland Police.
Yes, that would be amazing.
We should start doing outreach to like public officials, seeing if we can get one to cut loose on camera.
Maybe. We just gotta give them booze.
I think we should stop speculating, and I think we can
Yeah.
turn it in for the night because it's been a long
Well,
podcast,
I'm
over 2 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We can end it. I will say I'm Jesse and you're you, and thank you for watching.
Have
Love
a good
it.
night, everybody.
Love it.
Signing off is Eric.
Say bye-bye.
That was a good one.